KDKA does not guarantee the accuracy of any of the information heard on the preceding program.
KDKA and KDKA-FM HD2 Pittsburgh. W261AX Pittsburgh.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Aetna Medicare studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
It is 35 degrees at Pittsburgh International at 7 o'clock. I'm Rob Taylor. Pittsburgh police are investigating after a man was found stabbed downtown in Market Square. The man was found with a number of stab wounds around 12:30 this morning. He was taken to the hospital in critical condition. He's just been upgraded to stable condition. Police say suspects possibly left the scene in a dark-colored SUV. A fire broke out Saturday evening in an elevator shaft at the Douglas Plaza Apartments on Laketon Road in Wilkinsburg. Multiple people inside the building had to be evacuated as firefighters dealt with that fire. No injuries were reported. Cause of the fire is under investigation. SWAT personnel shot an individual in Lower Borough, Westmoreland County on Saturday night after the suspect initially fired shots at responding authorities during a standoff. Police in Lower Borough originally responded to Rogers Drive around 6:30 Saturday night after reports that a person had fired shots into a nearby residence. That's when a standoff occurred. Westmoreland's SWAT team was called in. Eventually, the individual inside the residence allegedly fired multiple shots through a window at SWAT officers. SWAT returned fire, striking that individual. He was arrested, transported to a Pittsburgh hospital, and is now under police custody. No officers were injured in that incident. KDK Radio News Time coming up on 7:03. Time to call Highwood Cemetery to ensure your family's grave sites are protected now and in the future. 412-766-6600. The AccuWeather forecast coming up.
Elevate your sleep experience with an adjustable bed and make everyday activities like reading, watching TV, and working in bed more comfortable. At the Original Mattress Factory, we know not all adjustable beds are created equal. You want one that has the features you actually need, like anti-snore and zero-gravity positions. We offer high-quality adjustable bases paired with a hand-built mattress, all at a factory direct value. And we have product in stock and ready when you are. Visit an OMF location to elevate your sleep experience today.
Hi, I'm Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, America's largest family law firm. During this time of year, difficult relationships sometimes become impossible. If you or someone you care about is facing a family law issue, let us set up a 1-hour Cordell Consult. The Cordell Consult is a meeting with a local attorney who will give you clear guidance about your options, whether it's a separation, a postnuptial agreement, divorce, or custody. CordellCordell.com.
Pittsburgh and Cranberry Township. Joseph Cordell. Licensed in Missouri and Illinois only.
You're next to order. Please pull forward.
You know, Josh, when you said you were springing for lunch, I didn't think you meant drive-through fast food.
Come on, man. Money's been tight lately, and these high gas prices are killing me.
You pay full price at the pump? Get your head out of the sand and start using Upside.
What's Upside?
Come on, dude. Upside is the free app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy. I use it every time I fill up my tank.
Does that really add up?
I've already banked around $200.
That's serious cash.
Hi, can I take your order?
Yeah, I'm ordering the free Upside app to start earning cash back on every gallon of gas I buy.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code ORDER to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code ORDER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code ORDER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
Today brings clouds with some rain, especially in the afternoon, and a high of 43, followed by a cloudy night tonight with some fog developing late, the low 33. Once that fog breaks up tomorrow, expect a mix of clouds and sun and a high of 49, with the warming trend continuing into Tuesday with another mix of clouds and sun, but a high of 59. For AccuWeather, I'm LaTroy Thornton, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
It's time to get greened. Doug Oster is here. All natural, no pesticides, no artificial ingredients. The Organic Gardener is on 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
All right, it is your Pratt Pack. We're back for another hour, and of course, it's the Sunday 7 a.m. hour, so that means Doug Oster, DougOster.com, and we begin by saying if you are the 10th caller at 412-922-1020, you will win a $25 gift certificate to Sorgles. It's going to warm up over the next couple of days.
Oh, that was a tough run for this old boy.
I know. It was really a deep freeze.
That driveway, I start that snowblower about once a year, and it's like 4 or 5 years old, and luckily it ran for that big snow event, but it got rocks in it and shear pins. Andy has it right now. Shear pins off, carburetor needed redone, so thank goodness I won't need it. But when I saw the beginning of the thaw yesterday, I looked out, and the little white snowdrop flowers are still sitting there ready to bloom. And in the next couple days, they're going to bloom like crazy. That's why everybody should grow snowdrops. It's a little bulb planted in the fall, and it's one of the first things to bloom. But before the cold spell, they were up and ready to open, and then just sat there in suspended animation for how long? A month under that snow and under this cold. It's amazing, and I'm really looking forward to actually photographing the garden today, if I can get out. If I see the rains coming, but just the thaw and just being, my wife said, I forgot what the walk looked like.
Before we go any further, very important, this will make you all think of warmer and better days ahead. Next 2 weeks, you and Andy and Larry and even I are going to be a part of Montour, the home show there, AHN Sports Complex. That's next weekend, and then Cool Springs the following weekend.
Yeah, it's the start of the
World Tour.
Home and Garden. The World Tour. I like that.
Thank you.
So next Sunday, 2 o'clock, I'm going to be at the Montour home show. It's absolutely free to get in. I'll have free seeds for you. I'm going to do a garden talk about how to have your best garden ever. Then the week after that, it's the South Hills home show, and then after that, the big one.
The big one.
Yeah, and I'll be there every day too. The big home and garden show. We'll talk about that when we get going. But that's all planned, and I'm going to be up in the Farm to Table Expo for that one. But yeah, next week, 2 o'clock, Montour home show, and it's a start of everything. One more thing to put on your calendar. Randy Sorgel texted me yesterday. Sorgel's free pruning class will be Sunday, March 8th at 1 p.m. If you've ever wanted to learn about pruning, this is the way to do it. I feel it's so complicated when you look at the drawings and everything, that it's hard to understand. But when somebody, an expert from Sorgel's, shows you where to cut and how to cut it, it's worth unbelievable. You will learn how to prune, and it's absolutely free. Sunday, March 8th, 1 p.m. We will talk about that in the next couple weeks. And 30 days until we plant our peas on St. Patrick's Day, Rob. That's a tradition that for many gardeners, mine comes from my grandmother, you've got to plant your peas on St. Patrick's Day, and only 30 days away. Oh, man, seeing that 10-day forecast, and this week getting up to like 60 degrees. Let's just hope that the lake thaws out enough where I can sneak out there and do a little
all
fishing.
I can say is I saw 2 triple axles, the Olympic highlights before I came into work, and the fall that I took off my front porch. I can't get rid of the ice. I mean, no matter.
Well, that was when I was coming in today. I had to be very careful because my back walk is it's just. The size of I've never saw this before, coming off my house. If someone was standing there, the size of these blocks of ice that fell off the top of the roof, unbelievable. They're going to be around for a while. Yeah, you got to be careful. But, in the next couple of days, it'll be a memory.
But we'll really appreciate spring more than ever, too.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. Well, I've got a nice little garden story where some friends of mine, Mark and Karen, they went to this place called Berlin Seeds, and then they sent me a text saying, do you need seeds for your Doug's Free Seeds checks? I said, I could always use some seeds, meaning, I don't know, I thought they'd give me 10 packets. They bought all this bulk seed, and it was right before the snowstorm, and started packing it. And so I met with them last week at this place called Shenanigans in Ross. It's my little meetup place for garden people. They're really cool. They help me with all my projects. And besides this giant bag of seeds, and I got it posted on my Facebook page, they gave me this beautiful hand-blown, what's called a hyacinth glass, and it's for forcing bulbs. And I was just like, okay. And that right away, I ordered some hyacinths that are pre-chilled, ready to bloom, and then also some crocuses that are pre-chilled and ready to bloom that I'm going to grow inside, and then some amaryllis bulbs too, all from the same place where I can't wait to get them going. And it'll be some type of gardening. I am doing a little bit of gardening inside with my microgreens, but I am itching to go, and so that was just so nice. And the first thing that I'll be starting, and I'm getting it set up now, or I'm starting my pepper seeds pretty soon. And the number one thing when you are starting something like pepper seeds, any seeds, is lighting. There are so many different good LED lighting systems out there that are inexpensive. You can find them at your local nursery, and that's the trick. Everybody can get the seeds to sprout. All we need is a planting mix that's moist, and then we throw the seeds in. We put a little bit of mix on top, and then we cover it with clear plastic, and they'll sprout. The trick for peppers, though, is heat. And a heat mat, it's specifically made to be under one of those flats. You don't want to use a heating pad or something like that. This is all sealed. You can't. It's just perfect for starting. When you put that flat on top of that heating pad, because peppers are notorious for taking weeks to germinate. And so I've talked about these peppers before. They're all related to this black artist, a painter named Horace Pippin. And the first one is called Buena Mulata. That one starts violet, then it goes to pink, to orange, to brown, and then deep red. That's a mildly hot pepper. But then I had discovered other peppers related to Horace Pippin. One called Pippin's Golden Honey, which I ordered the seeds yesterday, actually. It's got purple flowers, and that fruit starts dark purple, goes to yellow, and then orange, which is cool. And then something called a fish pepper. And this is cool. This is a hot pepper. They start off white, and so you could add that to like a cream sauce without changing the color. But it gets spicier as it gets older, and it goes puts green stripes on, then goes orange to red. All cool stuff. And so the peppers will be first because they take so long to germinate. Then my main crop of tomatoes, I don't start the seeds until April 1st, but I will take some of the early ones and I'll start them in March. And speaking of tomatoes, you got a couple week window here until the big home and garden show starts, where you could get some free 3945 seeds. Those are the seeds that a friend of mine introduced me to, that was found on the battlefield of World War II, and then he grew them for 70 years here, and I found out the story, and I got some seeds, and I've been growing it out and getting more and more seeds. I've got enough to give away, and so if you want that, you just go to DougOster.com, all the information. You're going to send me a self-addressed stamped envelope. I'll send you the seeds back. My wife says I'm crazy. I said, this is important. She goes, but you're only one person. I said, I know, but this is important to perpetuate this variety because it has that World War II connection. Also at the website, I've got a couple videos there. You'd still have plenty of time to do something called winter sowing, where you're just putting your seeds into a container, like you cut open a milk jug and use the handle as a hinge, a rotisserie chicken thing. You can just put seeds in there, stick it outside, and they'll sprout when they're ready. Also, I got a video about how to do those microgreens if you're looking for something to do. And outside, that flowering kale, it doesn't look great, but it's still there, and there's this beautiful purple color after being under all that snow. So that and the snowdrops, as I said, when things warm up today and when the snow's gone, I'm going to take some pictures of what's left.
All right, what's coming up?
My guest is my friend Natalie Carmoli from Proven Winners Color Choice Shrubs. You are going to learn about this program they have called Deer Proof plants. And she's going to talk about all these deer-proof plants, but also in part 2 of that interview, where I'm going to ask her about this brand new hydrangea that came out that is a reliable bloomer. If you're having trouble with your hydrangeas blooming, this thing will bloom no matter what.
All right, it's all coming up after a quick break on The Organic Gardener. Doug Oster, DougOster.com.
Listen to KDKA Radio on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
News Radio, KDKA, Sports.
Sports brought to you by Coons Market with 8 locations to serve you. A Pittsburgh tradition. University of Pittsburgh basketball team lost another one yesterday to University of North Carolina, the final 75-65. The Dukes beat St. Bonaventure 78-73. It was Penn State losing to Oregon 83-72, while West Virginia defeated University of Central Florida 74-67. Robert Morris tips off against Oakland later today. In the Olympics, Jordan Stoltz clinched his second speed skating medal, got the gold, and Team USA hockey overcame a slow start to defeat Denmark 6-3. They await Germany today. And Lindsey Vonn had another successful surgery and plans to travel back to the U.S. to recover. And it's the NBA All-Star Game coming up later in Los Angeles. Skills competition yesterday. Damian Lillard won his third three-point shooting contest, and it was Keyshawn Johnson winning the slam dunk competition. It's the Daytona 500 later today, Daytona International Motor Speedway. Cal Busch is on the pole. And through 3 rounds at the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am, your leader by 2 shots at 19 under is Akshay Bhutia. More sports, 937thefan.com.
Why does it matter to members that Aetna was named a Best Medicare Advantage company by U.S. News & World Report? Because they chose a plan that gives them real support, real people, and real care. We show up on calls with members and doctors' offices when needed. We show up with access to convenient care options and coverage that fits everyday life. We don't show up for awards. We show up for you. And showing up for you is how healthier happens together.
Fantastic February savings at Coons Market. Isn't that right, Frank Dentisi?
Right, Rob. In our meat department, center-cut boneless pork loin chops or roasts are $2.99 a pound. In the produce department, Sunkist Jumbo, Cara, or Navel oranges, 10 for $10. In our deli department, Coons pepperoni rolls are $4.49 each. An additional savings this week, Eggland's Best Large Eggs, 1 dozen cartons, 2 for $5.
Coons Market, that special place in your neighborhood, a Pittsburgh tradition.
The KDKA radio text line is driven by Kenny Ross Auto Group. Find your best deal and Pittsburgh's best warranty at kennyross.com.
Here's the latest from the KDKA Community Message Board.
Obsessed with pizza? So are they at Slice on Broadway. The 2025 winner of World's Best Cheese Pizza Slice is right here in the Burgh with 6 Pittsburgh locations, always serving delicious New York-style pizza, hoagies, and salads. Order yours today. Visit sliceonbroadway.com. This winter, help keep Western Pennsylvania families warm. Support Dollar Energy Fund by bidding in the online Warmathon auction at warmathon.com. For nearly 20 years, Warmathon has helped provide critical utility assistance to neighbors in need. Bid today and help make a difference this winter. New to Rivers Casino? Join now and earn up to $1,000 free slot play. Stop by Rush Rewards on your next visit to start earning today. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Details at KDKARadio.com.
Have you or a loved one recently needed nursing home care? This can be very expensive and you could lose your life savings without proper planning. The attorneys at Julian Gray Associates have helped thousands of families navigate these difficult situations. Visit grayelderlaw.com.
Doug Oster tells you how to keep it green. The Organic Gardener is on 100.1 FM at AM 1020. KDKA.
Today we're talking with Natalie Carmoli. She is a friend of mine, a public relations specialist for Proven Winners Color Choice Shrubs. We talked at the Mid-Atlantic Nursery Trade Show in Baltimore all about a new series of plants the company is offering.
One of the problems, especially in our area, well, I guess nationwide actually, is the deer population. And when thinking about shrubs, you guys have a program that will help us that are struggling with deer.
We do. So what we've done at Proven Winners Color Choice is we're trying to take more and more of our shrubs, and rather than just saying, you know, here's a boxwood, or here's a hydrangea, or here's a hibiscus, we're taking those plants and we're saying, okay, what are the problems we can solve with these plants? And one of them, of course, are people that have problems with deer browsing. So we've taken all of our plants that are rated by, if you go to Rutgers University, they have a website, and on their university website, they will rate plants according to their deer resistance. So we've taken the plants that we have in our collection that are rated as seldom damaged by deer, and we've put them into a program we call Deer Proof. But to make it even easier to find, we put them in containers that have a Deer Proof logo on them. So if you go to the garden center, you're going to see plants like boxwood that I mentioned that are highly deer resistant, and they're going to have that big, it's got like a shield with deer proof across the front. So when you're looking at a collection, it can be overwhelming going to the garden center and you see all these different plants, and you maybe have some experience with a quarter of them. You might want to try something new if you know it solves a problem in your garden.
And so, when it comes to boxwoods, anything cool that you can bring up right off the bat?
There is something cool. So we have a few new boxwoods in our collection. One is a Proven Winners Color Choice boxwood, brand new this season. So you're going to have to look around a little harder for it, maybe even look online, although I always recommend your local garden center first. But it's called Neat Ball, like meatball, but neat ball. So it's a really cute little round, globe-shaped boxwood, great for a container if you want to put a couple containers by your front door, because it's going to stay nice and small. It's going to have a naturally rounded shape. Of course, you can prune it or shear it like you would any other boxwood, but it's not going to be that big size that you're going to get. It's not going to be hedge size. It's more of a dwarf size.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. But before we go on to more deer-resistant stuff, is there a trend for smaller plants?
Absolutely, yeah. I think with people wanting to garden in more types of situations. I think people living in an apartment building, it's no longer stopping them from gardening. They're gardening on their patio in containers. Or people that, have larger houses and smaller yards. Maybe their house takes up more of their property. They still want plants that they can plant in the landscaping around their house. So I think also people that have established gardens might like a smaller shrub because they can treat it almost like they would treat a perennial. So they can fit it into a little spot that they might have fit a perennial in earlier, but it's got all the great qualities of a shrub.
What else can I plant that the deer aren't going to eat?
Buddleia. Can you grow buddleia where you are? Yeah, buddleia are super deer resistant, and we have so many kinds. We have the most popular kind. Our biggest, hottest seller is a series called Pugster. So it's a dwarf buddleia series. They're about 2.5 to 3 feet tall and wide with these giant flowers on them. They almost look like a jester hat when they're growing. So they have these great big spiky blooms. We've got, our most popular ones are Pugster Blue, which is a deep blue bloom, Pugster Amethyst, which is this almost velvety looking purple bloom. And then here's a little preview, coming in next season. So you might be able to find them online this season at the end, nearing the end of the season, is one called Pico Punch. So it's almost a tie-dye looking bloom. It kind of starts out purple and goes a little pink and lighter purple toward the tip, with, of course, those little orange eyes that buddleias have in the center. So it's really adorable.
What else is on your list of deer-resistant stuff?
I always love potentilla. I know I always bring up potentilla, but I love it.
Yeah, but I love it too.
Yeah.
It's late bloomer, not the summer bloomer. Tough as nails.
So tough and easy to grow and so cheerful. Covered with little, like almost open rose looking flowers all over the outside of it. You can put that baby in full sun in a droughty condition. It will not care. It's got adorable, tiny little delicate foliage on it, and the deer don't touch it. We've got them in our most popular colors, of course, are white and bright yellow, but last year we introduced an orange one that's really pretty.
It's so funny. I grew up with the yellow one, and at the time, but I want something different, and so I see orange or red or something like that. I'm just like,
Yeah, we introduced an orange one, and we have a couple of pink ones. So, you can get a variety of colors, and, I just think it's a great plant.
And long bloom time.
Yeah, they'll start blooming at the beginning of the summer, and they won't stop blooming until they're frosted over.
You got a couple more?
Deer proof, huh?
Yep.
We were going to talk about boxwood. So let's go there,
yep.
deer proof, and you asked about exciting boxwood. We have just partnered with New Gen Boxwood.
Oh.
And they are part of the Proven Winners brand now. So if you've heard of New Gen Boxwood, what you know about them is they are bred to be highly resistant to boxwood blight and leaf miner. So these are a new, very hardy boxwood. We talked about the little neat ball before. But these are going to be larger sizes. New Gen Independence and New Gen Liberty.
That's a big deal.
New Gen Independence and New Gen, I'll have to look up the other one. But yeah, they're a big deal. They're nice big boxwood, nice and full, easy to shear, and very resilient to blight.
New Gen must be over the moon.
Yeah, so are we. They're a great partner. Saunders Brothers out of Virginia developed New Gen, or they sourced it and they grow it, and they really put a lot of time and effort and pride into making sure that these plants are super resilient and are everything they say they are, which is why we felt comfortable adding them to the brand.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah. Let me say the names again. New Gen Independence and New Gen Freedom.
Freedom. Okay,
yeah.
Good.
So those are the two types.
All right, give me a couple more plants and then I'll let you go.
Okay. Another great plant that's also a new plant that's in the Deer Proof collection is our new Korean spice viburnum called Spice Cowboy Viburnum. So this has got that really pretty round white, fragrant spring bloom. Really gorgeous. It's it's good size, 6 to 10 feet, 4 to 5 feet wide. But it's just got these giant snowball flowers and that great, beautiful, spicy smell in the early spring. So that's a fun new plant, very deer resistant.
I'm glad that there's still some bigger plants out there. For me, that I know right where I would put that.
Yeah, yeah.
I got spots for the small ones, but I'm glad that a new one like that is going up to 6-8 feet.
Yeah, it's nice to have some showpieces, I think, in your garden as well, and things that really extend your season. So, viburnum is a great use for that because it blooms so early. Same with forsythia, another deer-proof plant. They're going to start your season with some early blooming, and fill it all the way out to punctilla at the end of the season.
But that fragrance of the viburnum.
Yeah, there's nothing like it. That, stick a lilac in your other corner of your garden, you're all set.
When we come back, there's one more plant in the Deer Proof series I want to talk about, and then a brand new hydrangea that is a reliable bloomer. Stay tuned.
Ready for custom window treatments? You've got options. At Lachina Drapery and Blind Factory, the Lachina family has been serving Pittsburgh homeowners for over 60 years. Choose from custom blinds, shades, shutters, and draperies made in Lachina's own factory and tailored to your home. Enjoy Lachina's pre-shop at home service or visit one of Lachina's 2 convenient locations in Dormont or Wexford. Call 412-665-4900. That's 412-665-4900. Lachina Drapery and Blind Factory. The quality you deserve.
For generations, you've listened to us in your kitchen, catching baseball games on your front porch, and ending your day as your bedtime buddy. Now, you can watch us every day on your TV with our new KDKA Radio YouTube page or by clicking on KDKARadio.com. It's presented by Metropolitan Windows. Same great content, more live visuals. The voice of Pittsburgh, 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
From the Aetna Medicare Studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
It is 36 degrees Pittsburgh International at 7:30. I'm Rob Taylor. Pittsburgh police are investigating after a man was found stabbed downtown at Market Square. Happened around 12:30 this morning. He had multiple stab wounds. He was taken to the hospital in critical condition. He's been upgraded now to stable condition. Police say there were 2 suspects who possibly left the scene in a dark-colored SUV. No arrests as of yet. A fire broke out in an elevator shaft at the Douglas Plaza Apartments in Wilkinsburg Saturday night. Multiple people inside the building had to be evacuated as firefighters dealt with the situation. No injuries were reported. The cause of the fire is under investigation. Well, a confrontation erupted during a protest against the arrest of a South American man who was living in Springdale by ICE agents. Protests started around noon in the area of Pittsburgh and School Streets as people protested the arrest of 36-year-old Randy Cordova Flores on Tuesday by ICE agents. Cordova Flores is currently being detained by ICE in Phillipsburg, Center County. Now, during the protest, a man stepped out of his SUV, confronted a few protesters, then pushed a photographer who was at the protest. Springdale police quickly addressed the situation, briefly detained the man, and then he was released. The rally continued following that confrontation. And also during the rally, protesters called on Springdale as a borough to end its agreement to cooperate with ICE officials. Well, today will mark the end of an era as KDKA Radio's Chris Moore will retire after his final broadcast today. Moore was asked on Friday's Big K Morning Show what he's proudest of.
Oh, I think showing Pittsburgh a reflection of itself through some of the documentaries that I have produced, like Wiley Avenue Days, Barbershops, and so many other shows that have had a positive influence on people who watch television.
His final show, 5 until 9 o'clock tonight. KDKA Radio News Time, 7:32. We have the AccuWeather forecast on the way.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
Trust is earned. That's why I've stuck with Straight Talk. Same price since 2009 on Verizon's 5G network. Cause shoot, anyone can make a promise. Keeping it for years, that means something.
Now plans starting at $25 a month with 4 lines. Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Same price claim applies only to the base monthly price of our $45 plan from October 2009 to present.
I built this business the old-fashioned way. Hard work and a whole lot of spreadsheets.
Yeah, about that, I upgraded us to Odoo. Odoo puts everything we need, sales, inventory, accounting, on one connected platform. No more juggling systems, no more headaches.
So it all works together?
Exactly.
Odoo is the all-in-one business software that makes running and passing on a business easier than ever. Take your business into the next generation. Try Odoo free at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Hello, this is Sarah Botkin of Botkin Family Wealth Management, where I work with my dad and brother. Lester is a chartered financial analyst, and Dad and I are certified financial planners. A favorite client said to me last year, "Someday I'd love to take my girls and their husbands on a family trip together." This was a physician who'd retired after 40 years, and I said to him, "Someday is now." I shared that my parents did the same for my brother and me when we were in our 20s, and the memories we created are priceless. I was so happy when my client and I met again this year, and he showed me pictures from the trip. We want you not just to survive, but to thrive in retirement, to understand what your wealth can do for you and for the people you love. Saving is an important part of a healthy financial plan, but so is enjoying what you've worked for. In retirement, someday is now. Find out how we help you get maximum fulfillment from your money at botkinfamilywealth.com.
Securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC.
What could be better than walking into our greenhouse with lush plants, gardening supplies, and a beautiful rack of seeds? Hi, this is Randy Sorgel of Sorgels in Wexford, and if you're looking for something to do, Sorgels is the place to go. There's so much to do. Visit our market for fresh fruit and vegetables, our bakery for a delicious pie, our deli, our gluten-free store with over 2,000 gluten-free items. Browse our gift barn, and our home accents area is absolutely breathtaking. And did you know that we now sell high-quality baby clothing? If you have kids or grandkids, you are missing out by not taking a look. Arsenal Cider's tasting room is open Wednesday through Sunday, and of course Arrowhead Wine Shop is open every day. Visit us today. There are no crowds, and we especially want to thank you, our customers, for supporting our family, and a shout out to Mary, one of our special longtime customers. Check out the website sorgels.com for our information on our essential food program, and look for updates about our free pruning demonstration early March. Sorgels, 724-935-2090.
You've still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored by Pfizer.
This is a message from your sponsor, Intuit TurboTax. This year, file your taxes with TurboTax and hand everything off to one of the thousands of experts who can get you filed online with 100% accuracy. Only available with TurboTax experts. Real-time updates only in the iOS mobile app.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
Today brings clouds with a bit of rain at times, especially starting late in the morning with a high of 43, but it looks cloudy and dry for tonight with some fog developing late and a low of 33. Any fog clears up tomorrow morning, leaving just sun and clouds and a high of 49, with another round of sun and clouds but warmer Tuesday, high 59. For AccuWeather, I'm LaTroy Thornton, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
All right, we'll be back on Monday. Lots to talk about. As always, Colin Dunlap, 2 to 6. Catch you on Monday right here, KDK.
All right, what do you say we make it the 10th caller to win that gift certificate to Janoski's in Clinton? 412-922-1020. And now back to your host of The Organic Gardener. Here's Doug.
We're back with Natalie Carmoli. She's a public relations specialist for Proven Winners Color Choice Shrubs. I've got one more plant I want you to talk about, Natalie.
All right, so I think the last plant, let's choose, I might have talked about this one before, but I think it's such a neat plant, and this is Paisley Pup Leucothui, or it's funny, its common name is dog hobble.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And we've got a lot of those in our booth right now here at Nance, and they're just showing off beautifully. They're absolutely gorgeous. This is a broadleaf evergreen. It's a North American native shrub, and it's got that variegated foliage that with the weather will turn different colors. So you're going to get the purpley in it when it's a little cooler, and then it's going to variegate into a green and a white, kind of stabilize out in the middle of the summer. Then you'll get a little more purple again when it's cooler in the end of the season. It's got white flowers, almost look like lily of the valley, little droops. So that's a really great little plant too. This one is 3 to 4 feet, 4 to 5 feet wide. So once again, kind of in that middle, we call that compact size. And depending on where you live is how big it's going to get is, how fast it's going to grow and how happy it's going to be. But it's great because it adds color to your garden without having to rely on bloom. So you get purple and you get green and you get white with your foliage, which I always talk about, is adding color to your garden with foliage interest.
This next plant is not deer resistant. They will nibble on it. But if you're having trouble getting your hydrangeas to bloom, this new introduction might be for you.
Why did you choose this plant to talk about?
I chose Incredible Stormproof to talk about because it's the newest in our series of smooth hydrangeas, and it really is a breakthrough for us, which is saying a lot because we have a long history of breeding smooth hydrangeas. Remember, we came out with Incredible hydrangea, and just to give you a little background on Incredible, when that was in its breeding process, what they were trying to do was just come up with a smooth hydrangea, something that would come after Annabelle that had that big white flower but didn't flop when it rained, because Annabelle flops and then it just stays flopped. Once it's down, it's down. So they started breeding for stronger stems, and as a bonus, they got these great big, almost basketball-sized blooms, and that was Incredible hydrangea, and we see that a lot around. And then came Incredible blush, but then we kept blooming. We kept breeding for stronger stems, and this newest Incredible, and we haven't added anything to the Incredible series since blush, so it's been at least a decade, probably more. And they got the stronger stem, but I think what's really cool about Incredible Stormproof is, yes, it will hold up against a storm. We had straight line winds in Grand Haven, Michigan, where it was developed, and it stood up straight. I mean, people's roofs were getting ripped off. The shingles were coming off the roofs, and the hydrangea after the storm just stood there like nothing had happened to it. But what I really love about it, aside from that, is it's a little bit smaller than Incredible, and it has more blooms. The blooms are a little bit smaller, but the amount of fertile florets, because we know that hydrangeas have sterile and fertile florets, right? The fertile florets are what the pollinators need in order to survive. There are 16 times as many fertile florets as on this smooth hydrangea as its leading competitor as any smooth hydrangea we have. So when you look at the tops of these flowers, you can see those fertile florets within the whole inflorescence, and it's just a pollinator magnet. So it's covered with bees, it's covered with other pollinators all summer long. So, this is a native species, so it's doing what the native species should do. It's easily adaptable to a lot of areas, holds up to storms, plus it's really, really great for pollinators. So that's what I think the really big story is on this hydrangea.
Talk a little bit about smooth hydrangeas. So many people have trouble in general with hydrangeas blooming, usually hydrangea macrophylla, but this is a different type of hydrangea that's a more reliable bloomer.
Yeah, smooth hydrangeas or hydrangea arborescens bloom on new wood. Basically, it's the stems that grew out of the ground this year. So if they're cut off, they're still going to keep developing new stems. They're going to still keep blooming. Also, they're not going to be fall, these big leaf hydrangeas, they've developed all their buds last season. They will have a lot of them, the rebloomers have new wood that comes up later in the season. But if those buds from last year, which are all on the terminal ends of the stems, or the tips of the stems get frozen or bitten off by deer or pruned by someone that didn't know what they were doing, you've lost your early season flowers. This isn't an issue with this because they don't carry their buds over at all. They develop them in the same season. They're great for cuts. They're great for drying. It's just the easiest hydrangea to grow. It can grow in a partial shade situation as well. So it's just a great hydrangea.
And with this variety, what color are the blooms and where do you want to plant it as far as morning sun, afternoon sun, whatever?
This variety has a white bloom, much like Annabelle, like the ones you're used to seeing, that kind of almost antique-y white color bloom that'll age to a green color. You will want to plant these. Now, it depends on where you're located. In the Pittsburgh area, you're probably going to want to plant these in anywhere from partial shade to full sun. I would... with any hydrangea, they love the morning sun, afternoon shade. So if you're going to put it in, in a little shady area, that's the ideal situation, but they're really adaptable to a lot of sites.
Do you get feedback in your job, like from regular people who know what you do and they get a plant and they say, man, that thing really did bloom well, or that thing was really something special? Do you hear from people about these different plants that you're part of introducing?
Oh, of course. And part of my job also is sending samples to people and having them try them out. So, that's the biggest thing is when I send a batch of hydrangeas out to people who grow plants, as their hobby or as their what they do for a living. There's a lot of different ways that people might be involved with plants, but they're all avid gardeners. And when they say, wow, this one did perform better than other ones, that means a lot as well. So when we send these samples out, we get a lot of good feedback. We're getting a lot of good feedback on this one in particular.
With so many plants that you send out, when you do get some that get this overwhelming positive feedback, how does it make you feel?
It makes you feel, of course it makes you feel wonderful, right? But it makes you feel really proud, too, to work for, a nursery and, an associated, a brand, but a nursery that is really getting behind what they are developing and what they're putting out there. And what you're telling people is really great because you believe in it. And then when people come back and say, yeah, that did everything you said it would do, it makes you feel proud to be associated with it.
All the information about the proven winners, color choice shrubs that we talked about today can be found at dougoster.com.
We're only 67 days until the draft. Everything you need to know surrounding the draft is right here. It's brought to you by Bill Few Associates Wealth Management, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
Hey, homegrown greenhouse Swiss chard available in that farm market daily at Janoski. So what makes Swiss chard great? Nutrient powerhouse. It's loaded with vitamin A and C. Super versatile. Hey, you can saute it, toss it in soups, add it to pasta. It's all good. Mild but flavorful and low calorie and filling. That's right, Swiss chard. Happy, healthy, nutritious, and it's delicious. Where? At Janoski's Route 30 in Clinton, Pennsylvania.
Hey folks, winter is here. For many of our neighbors, staying warm is not guaranteed. Local families, seniors, and many in need are struggling to keep their heat on. You can help by supporting Dollar Energy Fund during the Warmathon. Every donation goes directly towards helping someone maintain utility services so they can stay warm in their home this winter. Just one gift can make all the difference. Give warmth, give hope. Donate now at warmathon.com, because no one should have to face winter in the cold.
News Radio, KDKA, Sports.
Sports brought to you by Coons Market with 8 locations to serve you. A Pittsburgh tradition. University of Pittsburgh basketball team lost another one yesterday to University of North Carolina, the final 75-65. The Dukes beat St. Bonaventure 78-73. It was Penn State losing to Oregon 83-72, while West Virginia defeated University of Central Florida 74-67. Robert Morris tips off against Oakland later today. In the Olympics, Jordan Stoltz clinched his second speed skating medal and got the gold. And Team USA hockey overcame a slow start to defeat Denmark 6-3. They await Germany today. And Lindsey Vonn had another successful surgery and plans to travel back to the U.S. to recover. And it's the NBA All-Star Game coming up later in Los Angeles. Skills competition yesterday. Damian Lillard won his third three-point shooting contest, and it was Keyshawn Johnson winning the slam dunk competition. It's the Daytona 500 later today at Daytona International Motor Speedway. Cal Busch is on the pole. And through 3 rounds at the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am, your leader by 2 shots at 19 under is Akshay Bhutia. More sports, 937thefan.com.
Attention Pittsburgh area residents. If you have Medicaid and need help with activities of basic living, Freedom Care can make it easy. With Freedom Care, the person who cares for you can be someone you love, your family, your friend, or a trusted neighbor. They can assist you with meals, bathing, eating, mobility, and more, and Medicaid pays them for your care. You stay in the home you love, surrounded by the people you choose, and it's 100% free to you. Don't wait. Call Freedom Care now. Call 412-981-1620. With Freedom Care, you get the care you need, and your loved one gets paid instantly after every shift. Feel better, heal better, and live better at home with Freedom Care. Call 412-981-1620 or visit freedomcare.com today. That's 412-981-1620. Again, 412-981-1620. 412-981-1620.
Freedom Care, we're here for you.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
SchultzFord.com. 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 SchultzFord.com.
Doug Oster tells you how to keep it green. The Organic Gardener is on 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
All right, so you're the fisherman. I got to ask you this. So Frank's in the other room, and we made the announcement last week, along with those haddock fish sandwiches that we love that start Ash Wednesday. We're going to have walleye, too.
I'm excited.
So tell me about walleye.
Oh, well, walleye is one of the best eating fish. You know, you come out of Lake Erie. I was fishing a farm pond once, and you would never expect to see a walleye in a farm pond, and caught it on this top water. It was wild. But a walleye is just a great tasting fish. And when I fished up at Erie and we limited out, it's just to die for. In fact, I haven't had walleye since I actually caught it. So it's not a fish that you really find that often in the store. So I can't wait till my local Coons gets that walleye.
Well, you just have to roll down the hill to the McKnight Road store.
Yep, it's right there.
All right.
I was there last week, so I got my dip for the Super Bowl, and that was Frank's
hell of a good dip.
That he nailed that one, because that other dip this guy has, it's the kind you don't refrigerate. Blah.
This stuff was reminiscent of good old Lawson's in Ohio. That was a good French onion dip. And then you were talking. Do you remember Lawson's?
Yeah, Loblaws.
Did they have them in Pittsburgh?
No.
No, just Ohio.
We had Loblaws, which was out of Canada.
So you were talking, you did the ad about Swiss chard for Janoski's. Swiss chard is a great thing for us to grow. Now, it's too early to grow. Go out to Janoski's and buy some. When I cook Swiss chard, I separate the stems from the leaves, and I cook the leaves separately, and then the stems I kind of treat like asparagus and cook them a little longer. But with garlic and butter, that's a great spinach substitute. But that's something we can grow because spinach is so hard for us to grow. You'll start the seeds really early when we do our peas, St. Patrick's Day, and you'll get a couple harvests out of it. But as soon as it gets hot, it does this thing called bolting, which means that it's going to seed. It's going to perpetuate the species. And then the spinach becomes bitter and inedible. But with Swiss chard, you can plant it that early. It doesn't care about cold. It doesn't care about hot. And there's a variety I love more than any. And it's called, I've given it away before, it's called perpetual spinach. But it's technically a Swiss chard. And so it doesn't care about the temperature, whether hot or cold. But the perpetual spinach has more of a spinach flavor and texture. But any Swiss chard is going to be great for you. Now, I do have a couple questions from the internet. Frank just said he wanted to know, how do I start gardening this spring? How do I get started? He's a new gardener, and the number one thing we're doing right now, although probably would have been better to move this stuff in when you had frozen soil, but hard to get the compost, is adding compost. That, and we talk about it on the show all the time, but that is the key to your green thumb. And if you're going to start a garden this year, that's what you got to start thinking about is putting this compost down, because it has everything the plants need. And when the plants have everything they need, they will thrive. It doesn't mean you're not going to have problems. We all have garden problems, whether it's deer or diseases or pests or what, but for the most part, when you put them in good soil, don't worry about it. You'll be good to go. And that's really the key to getting started. Frank also wanted to know about starting seeds. And we talked about it at the beginning of the show here, but the main crop of seeds, we're waiting till mid-March into the 1st of April, our tomatoes and all our other things. But if you want to get something going now, we talked about it. Peppers take sometimes 3 weeks to germinate. So getting them started now under lights is a good thing to do. And I had another question that it's kind of funny the way it worked out. Deb says, can herbs be grown indoors? Well, my wife Cindy found this vintage called Gourmet Chia herb garden. And so we don't know what year it's from. We think maybe from the 90s. But I'm going to try that. I'm going to make a video of that, of trying to grow these, because herbs on the windowsill, especially this time of the year, when we're getting more sun, we're getting longer days. Herbs on the windowsill are just some of the best things. And then you get them going on the windowsill, and as soon as it's warm enough, and for the things like the thyme, oregano, sages, anything perennial like that stuff can go out in April. And then if we do basil, we wait until the frost-free date into May. But just having something growing on the windowsill, one of the things I did yesterday was, again, I'm really itching to garden, and so I repotted a bunch of Christmas cactus. And there's another indoor plant that I really love, and it's called, you either call it kalanchoe or kalanchoe. And it's a really nice blooming succulent. And again, I repotted those, put them in bigger pots. I want to see those Christmas cactus hopefully blooming again here in the spring as the days get longer. But what I'm going to be doing with my houseplants pretty soon is I'm going to be fertilizing. I'm probably going to wait a couple more weeks, but we're getting long enough days where those plants can use the nutrients, and I have to always be very careful about when I fertilize those indoor plants, because I use this stuff called Dramatic. It's from a company called Dram, D-R-A-M-M, so it's Dramatic with 2 M's, and it's fish-based. So we always say that when you apply it, it's like low tide. So it does smell a little bit. So next week, my guest is Rhonda Kaiser. She's the author of The Vintage Farmhouse Garden. I'll be announcing details of my next trip to explore the enchanting Christmas markets of Switzerland, France, and Germany. Remember, organic gardeners, you make our world brighter and safer with each seed you sow and every garden you grow.
Low tide smell is memories for me. Geneva on the lake vacation. I love that smell.
Not everybody does in my house.
I get it. All right, news coming up. And then, speaking of the sea and the lake, it's Meatless Meals next on the Coons Cooking Hour.
The Big K Morning Show with Larry Richards.
There is a 211 number. It's a helpline. Lieutenant Governor Austin Davis is trying to get a hike. It's part of the budget proposal. Joining us is Senator Wayne Fontana.
Certainly a credible and respected organization for many, many years. But it's a helpline for anyone that has any kind of issue.
Weekday mornings 5:30 to 10 on the Voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
This is Greg Trzynski of the Original Mattress Factory. Recently, the owner of a large mattress retailer was proudly sharing how over 65% of their queen mattress prices are $15.99 or higher. At the Original Mattress Factory, our focus is a little bit different. We build superior quality mattresses right here in town and do our best to save you as much money as possible. That's why at OMF, nearly 80% of our queen mattresses are lower than those prices others brag about. Stop in or check out originalmattress.com to learn more.
Customers often ask, what's the right mattress for me? At the Original Mattress Factory, our answer is always the same. It's all about personal preference. You should select the one that feels right to you because there isn't a one-mattress-fits-all solution. That's why we offer a selection of quality and comfort choices for every preference. And our sales team will help you find the right product for your specific needs. At the Original Mattress Factory, we have the right mattress for just about everyone. Stop by to find yours today.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL or visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on. Visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell & Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. Pittsburgh and Cranberry Township. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter?
Right? And the best part? They accept Discover.
Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times.
Right, so we shouldn't get the parachute pants?
These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2025 Nielsen report.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks Vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks Vapors when you need more comfort for yourself. Use as directed.
Listen to KDKA Radio on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
KDKA and KDKA FM HD2 Pittsburgh, W261AX Pittsburgh.
From the Aetna Medicare Studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
It is 36 degrees at Pittsburgh International at 8 o'clock. I'm Rob Taylor. Pittsburgh police say a man was stabbed overnight in Market Square downtown. Man was found with a stab wound to the head and neck area. around 12:30 this morning. He was taken to the hospital in critical condition. He's been upgraded now to stable condition. Police say they're looking for 2 suspects who left the scene in a dark-colored SUV. Well, crews will continue their search for a missing Washington County man this morning along the Mon River. Crews are focused on a stretch of the river in the city of Monongahela under the city's bridge. 26-year-old Shelby Rhodes was last seen in that area about a week ago when the river was still covered in ice. Dive teams have searched in the water for Rhodes. So far, no sign of him. Also, crews have used an aerial drone, sonar equipment, and underwater drones that teams from the borough of Elizabeth provided. Here's Monongahela Fire Chief Aaron Leeser telling KDKA-TV.
They're like really small submarines, basically, and they have cameras and everything on them, and they can go under and see what we can't see under the ice.
Rhodes' sister, Jessica, isn't giving up hope.
I'm very hopeful he is. If they found nothing for this many hours, where is he? If you're seeing this, please, 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 please come home.
SWAT personnel shot an individual in Lower Borough, Westmoreland County Saturday night after the suspect initially fired shots at responding authorities during a standoff. Police in Lower Borough originally responded to Rogers Drive around 6:30 Saturday night after reports that a person had fired shots into a nearby residence. A standoff then occurred. Westmoreland SWAT team was called in. Eventually, the individual inside the residence allegedly fired multiple shots through a window at SWAT members. SWAT returned fire, striking the individual. He was transported to a Pittsburgh hospital and is under police custody. No officers were injured in that incident. Well, today marks the end of an era as KDKA Radio's Chris Moore will retire after his final broadcast. Moore was asked on Friday's Big K Morning Show what he's proudest of.
Oh, I think showing Pittsburgh a reflection of itself through some of the documentaries that I have produced, like Wiley Avenue Days, Barbershops, and so many other shows that have had a positive influence on people who watch television.
Again, his final show 5 until 9 tonight. KDKA Radio News Time, 8:03. The AccuWeather forecast next.
I'm Matt Morgan of Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. I've had the privilege of seeing miracles, broken families rebuilt, every crash, every workplace injury, every medical mistake. Fighting back can work. We've gone toe-to-toe with insurance giants, and we've won a lot. Over $30 billion recovered. Size matters. Reputation matters. Results matter. There's only one Morgan & Morgan.
Morgan & Morgan, 603 Stanwyck Street, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania lawyer will handle Pennsylvania cases. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers. So we build specially adapted homes at Homes for Our Troops. And thanks to our donors and supporters, this life-changing gift of freedom is provided mortgage-free to these veterans. But we need you to join us, too, in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
America, look around. Everywhere you go, prices are still high, rates have been whipsawing markets, and the debt and spending don't exactly scream stability. Experts say diversifying with intention is the #1 secret account that all American smart money uses to hedge against instability. Monetary Gold has been around since 2000, witnessing multiple economic setbacks. If you call now, Monetary Gold will cover up to a lifetime of your IRA fees on qualified accounts. Call Monetary Gold now at 877-NOW-GOLD. That's 877-NOW-GOLD. Performance may vary. You should always consult your financial and tax professional.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
Today brings clouds with some rain, especially in the afternoon, and a high of 43, followed by a cloudy night tonight with some fog developing late, the low 33. Once that fog breaks up tomorrow, expect a mix of clouds and sun and a high of 49, with the warming trend continuing into Tuesday with another mix of clouds and sun, but a high of 59. For AccuWeather, I'm LaTroy Thornton, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
The following program is paid for by Coons Quality Market. This is the Coons Cooking Hour. The crew from Coons Market are here. It's the great food you grew up with and the recipes that make Pittsburgh someplace special.
All right, so Chuck, our guy from Taylor's, already sent me a picture. Grilled veggie sandwich with mushrooms. Man, it looked good. Because we're talking meatless meals today, so we'd love to hear from you. So get on the line, and someone's going to take home a $25 gift certificate. But before we do anything, I was at Hopewell pretty much a couple of hours on Friday doing some filming that you'll see over the next couple of weeks. But I spent a lot of time talking about the fish. That's right, Ash Wednesday, we kick off. And Frank made this announcement last week. I even made the fisherman, Doug, talk about it. Walleye, delicious, incredible. And we've got the haddock, golden brown, fluffy, delicious, melt in your mouth. Those salami rolls, of course, a little splash of Heinz ketchup, tartar sauce, whatever you like. But he's adding walleye this year, and already there is a buzz. So, again, why are we adding walleye? And it is, according to Doug, who knows his fish, it's good eating, too.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. If no one ever had it, it's a mild fish similar to like the haddock, and it's caught in the Great Lakes, so it's a freshwater fish. It's more local. It's caught, like I said, caught in the Great Lakes. We're going to be selling a smaller portion of it, so it's going to be about a 4-ounce portion that we're selling for $13.99 a pound, but again, 4-ounce portion. So, you're getting 4 fillets for that. And what we're looking for is people that have that option of, just a smaller quick sandwich, a smaller portion for it, plus an excellent fish, something different than what the haddock is. And again, when it's sourced locally, it's caught in the Great Lakes. It's a product of Canada, but it's caught in the Great Lakes, so it's on the other side of the land there. And I found this from one of our distributors out of Detroit because they're so close to Canada. I don't know if people realize how close Detroit is. When you're in downtown Detroit, you can actually see the border crossings right there, and right Canada you see right across the water there, and that's how close it is. And they have a good relationship with a lot of fisheries off of the Great Lakes, and it works. And it's something that I hope catch on. We tried it and tested it out, and we had to go with it.
Now, I want everybody to understand people sell fish during Lent, and I get that, and I am a little biased. But let me tell you right now, I have never had a fish sandwich like you will get at Coons Market. And this is a healthy fish. It will spill over on any plate. So what you need to understand, the line will be definitely long, but it's worth it. It melts in your mouth. And we were talking earlier today about your father, as we always do, and obviously your sister Jody and the whole crew, about when this whole thing started in which you switched to haddock. And I couldn't believe, and we've been together this long, about 20 years ago, huh?
It's got to be, because it was around the same time that we purchased the Ingomar store. And I was working that deli until we found the right mix of people. And just playing around with the thing, I had a vendor bring in haddock, and he says, you got to try the haddock. It's a little different fish, a little sweeter fish, and something that I think this area would really like. And we tried it up and we never looked back. We went with our batter, and it paired up even better than what cod did. And we just never looked back from there. And, once we find something good, we have to give it to the customer. We have to, I can't pass that opportunity up for the customer to miss out on something that's so delicious. And we go with the same size every year. We keep it consistent. We make sure that everyone knows how to fry it correctly, filtering our oils, using our canola oil. And it just works out every single year. And again, adding a walleye in there. And then, of course, all of our other sides, too. We have pierogies, haluski, simple as French fries. But we go through a lot of mac and cheese, too. And this is what people just come to expect from our.
Don't you love French fries in those? I never, you know what? We get so caught up in the haluski and the mac and cheese, but one of those fish sandwiches with a big pile of French fries, are you kidding me? That's like that's heavenly, man.
That's great.
Oh,
just pairs perfectly. If you look at the English style, where they put that malt vinegar on it. If you ever tried putting malt vinegar, it is a good one.
Well, let me take it one step further. So I'm in Hopewell filming the other day, and I want to thank our employee Jake. Does such a great job. So I'm really working the room, and I end up at the Bellevue section in the condiments, and I get fixated on that product that's Bellevue. I just love everything they do. They've got so many different condiments out now. I was thinking I actually bought 3. So you could actually, and we love Heinz ketchup, don't get me wrong, but if you really want to jazz things up with that fried fish sandwich, go to the condiment section at Coons Market. They've got horseradish. They even have a cranberry horseradish out. Mm-hmm. You got to try it on that fish, or put a little bit on the side and, cut a little piece and do a little dip and see what it tastes like. But that really is a unique brand, Frank.
One of the items I buy off them all the time is my cocktail sauce. They'll put seafood sauce on it. That cocktail sauce, it's really good and has a little extra kick to it. I don't know if Bob Fosse, they like that extra heat, but a lot of their stuff has that extra little kick to it.
And I'm going to be honest, but I can't stop eating it. My pores on my head, I actually think it's making my hair grow again. It's that good. I mean, it's you start to perspire a little bit. I love it, man.
Well, now I know. None of those Bellevue guys, I've never seen them have a cold.
No. Listen to me.
Clean them sinuses, right?
Who's coming up with all these different flavors and ideas? I mean, I can't get enough of this stuff.
Well, I'm sure they have their research and development. And I know Bob Fosse would always ask me if you're looking for something, we'll look and see if we can pack it. So, I mean, they're always looking to grow, and I see their product in more and more places. So they're still growing, which is good.
Another thing I see growing, and we were the first to really promote it, this Duke's Mayonnaise. Where in the world did that come from?
That's a Southern item. It's from down south, and it's more popular than the Best Food / Hellman's down south. Here we're a Hellman's town, but, there's people that didn't grow up here. There's people from down south. So you add Duke's, and they're like, oh, my goodness, I don't have to order that in anymore. That'd be like us going down south and not being able to find chipped ham and having someone bring chipped ham in, some Isley's products. So,
do you have any idea how many people came up to me because of the 2-day sale, the 7th and 8th, and we were selling it for $2.99 a pound? People were like, they were calling me. I heard you. Are you sure? I'm like, get the flyer. Go to coonsmarket.com. People love Isley's Chip Top Ham. They love Isley's.
Yeah, and we can get a deal. We pass that on to the customer. If we went more than the 2 days, it's hard to supply it. But we're able to pull that supply in and make sure we have enough for the customers. We don't want to run out.
All right, so listen, don't forget, Ash Wednesday it starts, and then every Friday, Fabulous Fish Fry Fridays, of course, haddock being added to, walleye being added to that haddock fish sandwich. You're going to definitely want to become a part of it and enjoy it. And it's a tradition. Most of you already are ready, set, go, and getting ready for it. So meatless meals today, 866-391-1020. So let's begin with what Chuck was talking about, and we're going to get to Chuck on the other side of the break. But vegetables can go a long way to create an entire meal. You can actually have a meal of vegetables to replace any type of meat during the Lenten season. Frank?
Yeah, I like a nice California mix of vegetables. You can pick up a frozen bag. You can steam it. Anytime I use those steam bags, I always end up sautéing it on the cooktop as well. Or you can take those and roast them in the oven, where you just put some seasoning on it. Nice lemon pepper, or one of your favorite seasonings. And roast it right in the oven with some little bit of butter drizzled over the top. And it comes out great. It's more filling than you think. And especially if you get a mix and you add in some beans or something like that to give you a little more protein hit. Another good vegetable is mushrooms. If you take a portobello mushroom and you marinate that in Italian dressing or steak sauce, put that on the grill, like Chuck's going to be giving a recipe, with vegetables. But the grilled portobellos, that you'd swear you were eating a burger, especially if you use like a steakhouse seasoning on it or something like that, or something you'd usually put on burgers. It just gets that flavor like you're eating a burger. Mushrooms have the beauty of those. They pick up the flavor of anything you cook them. They're like a sponge. And so you can really change that flavor and cut back on the meats that you want.
We're going to talk to Chuck about his stuffed mushrooms and vegetables in just a moment. But, Tuesday is Fat Tuesday. We got punchkis for you, so if you want that little Polish treat, you can pick it up at Coons Market. But all sorts of delicious treats in the bakery, cupcakes, cookies, and more. And Walnut Creek, I want to talk about them for just a minute. The icing is like off the charts. Talk about this product. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's a newer item that we had picked up probably about a year and a half ago that we found from one of our distributors. And we were pretty much the first here in Pittsburgh to have that label coming through. And we got some copycats around town, which is fine. That just shows you that you did your job and found the right product to come in. But they have a wonderful cinnamon roll. And my wife and I were shopping, and she picked up these, she said, they did something wrong here. I'm like, what are you talking about? I said, look how much icing they put. I said, that's what's, people love that flavor, and it's got that cream cheese feel to it. They also have a maple, which has a real nice mapley flavor to it, but the reason why they need that icing is a thick cinnamon roll. So, that icing just kind of, it works out to the right amount. You hate when you pick up a cinnamon roll and it looks great and you pick it up and there's barely any icing. Now you got this. Now you're trying to find milk wherever you can get it to try to because it's so dry.
Wash it
You
down.
know, when you have that icing that just kind of absorbs into the crevices of that roll, there's enough of it there. It just hits the spot. And one beauty of the cinnamon rolls, I do it with the Walnut Creek ones, which is you take them and put them in when you take one out, put in the microwave for 15 seconds. Oh my goodness. You would think you're right. Cinnamon bun times 10. It's delicious.
It is delicious. All right, so let me get a break in here. So load up these phones. Let's talk meatless meals. Give us some unique ideas that we can all consider to whip up during this time that is the Lenten season. That begins on Wednesday of this week, February 18th. Don't forget fish at all of our locations, and then you're going to be able to reel it in every single Friday during our fabulous Fish Fry Fridays during the Lenten season. Number to dial here, 866-391-1020. Some lucky listener could be taking home a $25 gift certificate from Coons Market, a Pittsburgh and Lenten tradition.
Your source for official traffic information. Hear it on News Radio KDKA.
Heart disease is the leading cause of death in the United States. So when it comes to your heart, there's no room for compromise. At UPMC Heart and Vascular Institute, innovation, technology, and world-class expertise come together to treat the most complex heart cases, redefining what's possible for patients who need it most. Getting your heart checked can save your life. Schedule your appointment with the region's leader at upmc.com/heart.
Fantastic February savings at Coons Market. Isn't that right, Frank Dentisi?
Right, Rob. In our meat department, boneless, skinless chicken breasts or breast tenders are $2.99 a pound. In the produce department, fresh strawberries, 1-pound packages, 2 for $6. In the deli department, plain or garlic Eckrich bologna, $3.99 a pound. And additional savings this week, selected varieties of Ken's salad dressing, 16-ounce bottles, 2 for $6.
At Coons Market, a special place in your neighborhood, a Pittsburgh tradition.
Larry Richard for CertaPro Painters. For more than a decade, I've been working with CertaPro Painters doing great work for me, and now is the time. Get a free estimate, get on the schedule at the right price. You never have to wonder what's next with CertaPro Painters. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated right here in our community. Schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. When choosing a painting professional, the choice is simple. Choose happy. Choose CertaPro Painters.
Attention! Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-885-8877. 800-885-8877. Again, that's 800-885-8877.
The KDKA radio text line is driven by Kenny Ross Auto Group. Find your best deal and Pittsburgh's best warranty at kennyross.com.
Listen to KDKA Radio on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
The diet can continue Monday. This is the Coons Cooking Hour on 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
All right, here we go. Time to talk to you about meatless meals. You were just talking about a local company. Real quick, I was trying to do 3 things at one time, but I heard you say Lawrenceville, so go ahead.
Yeah, it's a product that we sell, Herky's deviled crabs. We
I know that.
Yeah, you know those products, and they're up in the Lawrenceville, Bloomfield kind of area.
That's where they're from?
They're all produced up there, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, we sell a ton of them. You know, it's like a crab cake meatball. You know, I mean, that's what it looks like. They used to have the foil tins on the bottom, you know.
Now
but
you're
they
talking
stopped
my
doing
language.
That. Yeah, they took that off so they can microwave. You can now microwave them because couldn't microwave them with the metal on the bottom. You know, but they're delicious, and we'll have them coming up here in the ads starting on the Wednesday. So
yeah, you know,
start to see them.
You know how else I can tell it's Lent for the ad next week, right on the front page, Mrs. T's Pierogies.
Yes.
So look out. Here we go. Pierogi time, man.
Yeah, there's a lot out there, but that one there is kind of like a staple. The amount of flavors they have is unbelievable, you know.
Listen, when I come to work this week, Pierogies Plus, Island Avenue, McKees Rocks, I do it on purpose, even if I have to get stuck in traffic on the McKees Rocks Bridge, because the people are lined up down the street.
Oh, yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, down near me, they have the one store carries it, the Pierogies Plus in their case.
Frank.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like waiting to get into a rock concert or something. I've never seen line. Oh, maybe like Ash Wednesday or one of our like McKnight or Banksville. Those lines. But you know those lines, nobody gets upset. I talk to people, walk up and down the aisle, introduce myself, and they're the line and introduce myself. They're just happy to be there, man.
They know what's at the end of the line. You know, when it's worth the wait, you're not going to complain.
I've been waiting long enough. I want my fish sandwich. I'm ready. All right, here we go. Chuck Shaler. Chuck, how you doing, buddy?
All right. Good morning, Rob. Good morning, Frank.
Good morning.
All right. Hey, those pictures were scrumptious, man. Stuffed mushrooms, vegetables. Love it.
Yeah, Frank was correct, though, when you said that mushrooms can take any seasoning, and that's exactly what I used was the McCormick's Brazilian Steakhouse. That's one of my new... It's a newer one. It's one of my favorites. It goes with anything, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it sounds like I'll have to try that one. We're using this one seasoning, Danio. I think it's Dano. That's one of mine that I've been kind of stuck on. I just kind of like it. And but I know they have all those different steakhouse ones. It used to start with that Montreal steak was like the beginning of their line. Now they have probably about 10, 15 of them. They have their own little grilling line from McCormick that
you are correct.
Pretty good.
It is Dano, so you are correct.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah, you'll like that Brazilian. It's definitely worth a try.
I'll have to try that.
Here's what I did this week.
Okay.
I don't even know what to call it. It was good. The only thing I needed was bacon, but since it was veggies, I just kept it all veggies, no bacon. But I had one eggplant, cut that about a half-inch thick. 4 large portobello mushrooms, took the stem out, cleaned the gills out. 1 red pepper, cut the top off, cut it in half, make it like so you could put on a sandwich. And let's see what else. 1 Vidalia onion. And I sprinkled it all with the seasonings, rolled that up, and then in the mushrooms, I made this cream cheese dip. It was 8 ounces of cream cheese, 1 can of chopped artichoke hearts. Not the jar, because the jar has vinegar or whatever. The cans are always packed in water. 1 cup of freshly grated Asiago cheese, 1/4 cup of Greek yogurt. I think, yeah. Oh, and 1 teaspoon of garlic powder.
No,
and I loaded up the mushrooms. Oh, they are delicious.
Chuck, how'd you come up with this? Before you go any further, I mean, that's incredible. All those different ingredients. Is this a wing and a prayer, or is this a recipe?
It's like a little bit of both. You know, I surf for ideas. You know, I have something in my head, and then I'll look at a couple things like, oh, this looks good, but no, I don't like this, so I'll replace with either things I like or things that I have on hand. You know,
it looked.
So I grilled all the. Oh, go ahead.
No, it looked great. I mean, and it's healthy too.
Well, except for all the cream cheese.
Yeah, and the cheese. Yeah, but the veggies and the mushroom. I mean, come on, that's half the battle.
Yeah, but I mean, I layered that. I made 2 different sandwiches. I made one open face on toast, and the other one was, on pita. I cut the pita in half, made like a pocket out of it, and put that on a grill for a few minutes just to kind of warm it up. And I tell you what, Rob, I ate 2 of them. And my wife ate the other 2 mushrooms.
You know what you might want to try? We're going to put you to see if you can figure this one out then, too. Grab a pizza shell and take that dip that you made, put that on as your sauce, and then put the veggies and some cheese on it, or just some cheese. Bake that pizza. You can throw it right on the grill and see how that turns out. I bet that would have a nice flavor, too, for like a meatless pizza.
Hey, Chuck, what time do you get off work during the week?
Too late.
Okay. I'm just curious.
No, I mean,
I may bring you to one of these Coons markets and buy you a fish sandwich one day. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, when I retire, I can do that, Rob.
There you go. We'll do that. Anyway, finish your thought. Yeah. What else were you saying?
Oh, well, I had just a little bit of that, the cream cheese dip left over. So we had a baguette. I cut a few of them up and toasted them on a grill and then just topped them off with the rest of the dip. It was enough for like 8 or 10 pieces left, you know. It's like, it was good.
A different version of like a garlic bread would be.
I just want to say I can't believe how many people listen to the show.
I know. It's amazing.
People stop me all the time. Like, Chuck, what are you making this week? I said, tune in to KDKA Sunday morning and you'll find out.
Well, you need to get a social media page and start posting some of these photos. Or maybe if you don't mind, I'll start posting them on my page because I got to tell you, you really do some good stuff, man. It's amazing what you're able to prepare. Now, you doing all this stuff still on the grill?
Oh, everything I did was on the grill. I toasted the bread on the grill. All the veggies were on the grill. I mean, well, obviously I had to mix the dip inside the house, but I mean, I cooked it all on the grill. Everything was on the grill.
Well, keep up the good work, and we appreciate you, okay?
Oh, no, I'm having a blast. You know, I had one of my coworkers I was talking to, and he said, we don't do nothing during the week because everybody's getting done at 7 o'clock at night. What are you going to do at that point? You know, so like this gives me something to do on a weekend and something to practice for retirement. And, you know, I have a lot of retired friends that listen to the show and they're like, Chuck, you got to retire. I try to get them to call in, especially my buddy Sean. He's from North Carolina. I said, we might need a translator, but we'd love to hear one of your grilled raccoon burgers or possum stew.
Whatever you hit on the way to dinner.
Roadkill menu. All right, listen, Chuck, really, really good stuff. All right, folks, come on, Meatless Meals. Get on the line. Join us. We got some lines available. We're going to talk to Diane in Valencia. Hey, omelet, and eggs, so versatile. The incredible edible egg, especially during the Lenten season. Don't forget Wednesday, Ash Wednesday, and then every fabulous Fish Fry Friday right through the Lenten season. Haddock, walleye, all the different fixins that you love at Coons Market, a Pittsburgh and Lenten tradition.
Why does it matter to members that Aetna was named a Best Medicare Advantage company by U.S. News & World Report? Because they chose a plan that gives them real support, real people, and real care. We show up with care management that ensures doctors work together on complicated conditions. We show up with the latest in online tools to make healthcare easier to use anytime. We don't show up for awards. We show up for you. And showing up for you is how healthier happens together.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
Y108 presents Odyssey, The Night Before, powered by Bowser Chevrolet, starring Jason Aldean.
Hey, what's up, Pittsburgh? I'm Jason Aldean.
Wednesday, April 22nd, inside the Event Center at Rivers Casino, Pittsburgh. You can't buy a ticket to this show. You can only win your way in. Details at Y108.com. Presented by Miller Lite and brought to you by Pool City, True Green, Giant Eagle, and Broken Bow Records. Must be 21 plus.
From the Aetna Medicare Studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
It is 37 degrees at Pittsburgh International at 8:30. I'm Rob Taylor. Pittsburgh police are investigating after a man was found stabbed downtown in Market Square. It happened around 12:30 this morning. The man was found with a stab wound to the head as well as the lower back. He was taken to the hospital, now in stable condition. Police say 2 suspects left the scene downtown in a dark-colored SUV. Crews continue their search this morning for a missing Washington County man along the Mon River. Crews are focused on a stretch of the river in the city of Monongahela under the city's bridge. 26-year-old Shelby Rhodes was last seen in that area a week ago when the river was still covered in ice. Dive teams have searched the water for Rhodes. So far, no sign of him. Also, crews have used an aerial drone, sonar equipment, and underwater drones that teams from the borough of Elizabeth provided. This is Monongahela Fire Chief Aaron Leeser telling KDKA Television.
They're like really small submarines, basically, and they have cameras and everything on them, and they can go under and see what we can't see under the ice.
Rhodes' sister, Jessica, isn't giving up hope.
I'm very hopeful he is. If they found nothing for this many hours, where is he? If you're seeing this, please, 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 please come home.
A confrontation erupted during a protest against the arrest of a South American man living in Springdale by ICE agents. The protest started around noon in the area of Pittsburgh at School Streets as people protested the arrest of 36-year-old Randy Cordova Flores back on Tuesday by ICE agents. Cordova Flores is currently being detained by ICE in Phillipsburg, Center County. Now, during the protest at Springdale on Saturday, a man stepped out of his SUV, confronted a few protesters, pushed a photographer there who was at the protest. Springdale police addressed the situation. The man was briefly detained and then released. The rally continued on following the confrontation, and during the rally, protesters also called on Springdale as a borough to end its agreement to cooperate with ICE officials. In Wilkinsburg, a fire broke out Saturday evening inside an elevator shaft at the Douglas Plaza Apartments on Laketon Road. Multiple people inside the building had to be evacuated as firefighters dealt with the situation. No injuries were reported. Cause of the fire is under investigation. We're entering week 3 in the search for Nancy Guthrie, mother of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie. Law enforcement is tracking down leads, but so far are coming up with nothing. Here's CBS News correspondent Christian Benavidez.
The male suspect stands between 5'9" to 5'10" tall, with an average build, and was wearing a black Ozark Trail Hiker backpack sold exclusively at Walmart.
That's really what we're focused on. We've got to find that guy. Right now, he's who we want. Somebody out there knows who this is.
Officials say they've processed fingerprints and DNA evidence, including a pair of gloves the New York Post captured photos of near the crime scene.
KDKA Radio News Time, 8:33. AccuWeather forecast coming up.
Been 30 time, would have been 30, no, would have been 30, being 30, been 29. If that'll help, been 29,000.
Get ready to bid on the equipment you need in the Ritchie Brothers Northeast Regional event on March 25th and 26th. Inventory is housed at locations in Pittsburgh, Northeast Maryland, and North Franklin, Connecticut with in-person inspections available. Bid on a wide selection of construction and transportation equipment. Don't miss this great opportunity. Visit rbauction.com/Pittsburgh to sign up. Again, that's rbauction.com/Pittsburgh.
At the UPS Store, we know being a small business owner means holiday time is still go time. Still get those orders shipped time. And still re-up on stamps and supplies time. That's why this upcoming holiday, while others close up shop, we'll be open. And happy to help you keep being unstoppable. Come into your local store today. Most locations are independently owned. Product, services, pricing, and hours of operation may vary. See Center for details. The UPS Store. Be unstoppable.
Are you 50 or older? This news is for you. The CDC recommends you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at risk. People 50 or older are over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults 18 to 49. Just one shot can help protect you. Learn more and schedule at vaxassist.com. That's VAXassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
Today brings clouds with a bit of rain at times, especially starting late in the morning with a high of 43, but it looks cloudy and dry for tonight with some fog developing late and a low of 33. Any fog clears up tomorrow morning, leaving just sun and clouds and a high of 49, with another round of sun and clouds but warmer Tuesday, high 59. For AccuWeather, I'm LaTroy Thornton, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
The following program is paid for by Coons Quality Market. The diet can continue Monday. This is the Coons Cooking Hour on 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
All right, meatless meals. You want to have a chance at that $25 gift certificate? Now is the time to call. Few lines available, 866-391-1020. And finally, it's the incredible egg omelet and some potatoes in there, too. Here's Diane from Valencia. She joins us on KDKA. Good morning, Diane.
Good morning, guys. This is actually one of my favorite. I love all the different varieties of recipes that will come on the show today, as well as this is a challenging week for us Catholics, and I don't know for you guys, but it's been a busy work week, and it'll be a busy week ahead. So for me to whip up some eggs is always easy, and it sort of helps with the time crunch, but I usually take about 2 or 3 eggs, whip in about 2-4 tablespoons of half and half. Another thing I'd like to do is get some cottage cheese. Use your submersible blender or use your food processor. Whip that all in there. Adds a little bit of extra flavor and fluff to it. While you're doing that, take your spinach and your mushrooms, saute that in the skillet with some butter, and then I add in a little bit of olive oil to make sure it doesn't stick. Pour in the eggs. Add in your salt and pepper, add in any other kind of seasoning that you might like. And then whenever it comes out, we usually like to top it with sort of piggybacking what Chuck was doing. Get some of those fresh bell peppers, some of those tomato cherries that are on sale this week, dice those up, put that on top of the eggs. You can serve it with a nice piece of bread. And we all love potatoes with our eggs. And this week, the potatoes are on sale as well. Make up a great batch of potato pancakes. If you have extras, they refrigerate well, and you'll have those for Friday as your backup meal if you need it. Usually takes just about 4 large russet potatoes, what I like to use, medium onion. You can use leeks, even some chives if you want to go a little bit differently. 2 eggs, 1/4 cup of flour, some salt, pepper, and you just need your vegetable oil for frying. Sometimes also I like to take some tofu, if it's even the silken or the firm, add that in there to bulk up a little bit more protein. And I have to add, I know it's not a meatless meal, but you're pulling on my husband's heartstrings. His fried bologna sandwiches are his downfall, and I'll usually take that. You have onions on sale this week. Take a slice of onion, fry that in a pan, add that on top of that fried bologna. But, with the egg, you can also top that with the Swiss cheeses on sale, the Lorraine Swiss. You've got the Sargento shredded cheeses. Sprinkle that on top. If your kids are too picky, you got the great Eggo waffles. Put some peanut butter on it and make a great yogurt parfait for your dessert, and you're set.
And by the way, in case you're wondering, you save $1.50 per pound. We've got Eckridge regular or garlic bologna or bologna, depending on what side of the street you're from in Western Pennsylvania, $3.99 a pound. So that's a good deal, Frank.
Or jumbo.
Yes, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
They also had the jumbo.
Diane and Frank, real quick, we were talking the other night about food, as we always seem to do on one of my shows, and I got talking about if that last meal ever became a part of my life, my last meal would be 2 pieces of, the old Town Talk bread, and it would be some bologna, and it would be a slice of American cheese, tomato, and mayonnaise, and a pickle on the side, and I would be happy. That's my favorite sandwich of all sandwiches, just a bologna sandwich. Now, I don't know, guys, if that's because of where I grew up or my age, but I still think bologna is a treat. And I go back, and your dad and I used to talk about this, Frank. Now bologna is a delicacy, pretty much.
Well, yeah, it's not the bologna that you used to have, which was more fillers in it than what they have today. Everyone had to up their game. People requested things. No, less ingredients, the better ingredients. And these companies stepped up to the plate. I like the one Silver Star has that's called straight bologna. It's a smaller round bologna, and it has garlic in it. It has a really great flavor. They still have their square bologna as well, and those two are tops. There's a Smith's bologna that I like as well. It has more of even though you get the plain, it has a little bit of a garlicky taste to it, and the garlic has a lot of garlic in it. I know that's one of his. He would love that one because that extra garlic. Sometimes bologna just hits the spot. Bologna, American cheese, a little bit of mustard.
When you're frying it in the pan, before you put it in, if you go and you score just a little bit on the edges, it will help keep it from cupping up in the pan. I mean, if you got to press it down with your spatula while you're frying it, that's fine too. You can score it when it comes out to make it lie flat, but I always try to sort of score it on the four edges. Just about, little quarter ways in on the piece of meat. But, yeah, my husband's so hooked on it. He went out for a business lunch and found an area restaurant, usually served it up, and they discontinued it. And I said to him, well, probably because it's so great and simple to make it home. So needless to say, that's how bad his addiction goes. But, yeah.
Cry over your bologna sandwich.
Yeah, like you go out for lunch and you're getting bologna sandwiches. I'm like, okay. But,
he's lucky to have you. He's lucky to have you still making that stuff for him. Listen, Diane, we really appreciate you. Good hearing from you. I hope you have a great day, okay?
Have a blessed week, gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's the simple things sometimes, Frank. I mean, fried bologna
Just give me my bologna and I'll be happy.
Listen,
and
got to give Silver. That's my favorite bologna right now. I mean, I've always loved Silver Star.
Well, I've seen the process of making it, and I understand why. They take a round bologna and they put it into it's like a steel frame, and before they smoke it, that's what gets it square. So they're still making it round, but it's just that's the way it comes out, of the tubes. Everything's round. It keeps it when you're producing food, corners are a bad thing because food gets stuck in there. It's harder to clean. Round's the best way to go. And that's how they produce it. But then they put in that steel frame before they put it into the smoker, and they learned that from the Luger's process. That's where they picked up the recipe.
Wait a minute, back up. They did. I was just thinking. I grew up on Luger's bologna, which was in Beaver Falls, became Beaver Falls Meats, and then Hatfield bought it over. So that's where they learned that.
That's where they got the recipe from. Yeah, and they got it from there.
Come on,
how to produce it and the flavors profile and all that. Yeah.
So
same with their Braunschweiger, they did the same.
Would that have been Dick Brazzacca that did that?
That would have probably been no. I think he was out of it by then. I think it was near
Bob Dramoni.
It had to have been Bob Dramoni, which he's the one who told me about it.
Well, Bob, if you're out there, and I know you listen, or somebody, you got to get a hold of me. I'd love to tell that story. I never knew that.
Oh yeah,
that's a classic story.
He's got a lot of stories. Between the things that make it, and whenever Dick Brazzacca was there as well. Just some good stories, and it's a well-loved brand as well. I mean, it's still a top seller in our stores, no problem at all. People know it's a local product, and it's a product they can trust.
And that's what you can get it exclusively at Coons Market. And Easter coming up, Silver Star hams. But Luger Meats, when I was a kid, matter of fact, God rest her soul, Sylvia Savalinsky, who did some work for me for years, lived into her 80s, loved Coons Market. Her husband was a salesperson for Luger Meats. That's what he did his whole life, Jim. And I would make her, when we would get together and do some business, I would say, so tell me about Jim. Oh, he went out and Luger Meats, this. I mean, I can tell you exactly where the plant was in Beaver Falls, and they lived not too far from that plant. But they were legendary for years. And then Beaver Falls Meats and then Hatfield came in.
Yeah, when I came into the deli part of the business, they had just been gone maybe 3 or 4 years. And because I used to get thousands of questions every day, waiting on people and this and that. Do you still have Luger? Do you still have Luger? And that's where I learned the Silver Star story, because I was asking them, I said, where's this Luger's bologna? Do you have a comparable? And that's when they tell me the story. So, it's coming straight from the person who's producing. It's mouth on to me and pass on that information. And it's something that, square bologna always just made sense to me. If you're going to make square bread, you better have square meat.
Listen,
it just makes sense.
Listen, I'll tell you the other thing. You get some Saloni's bread, thick Italian. Oh, I'll tell you, one of my dreams has come to an end. I've always wanted to be a bar owner, and the bar I always wanted to own was the Corner Grill in New Brighton, and it came up for sale, and somebody bought it, a young couple, so I wish them the best. So that'll never happen with me. But what I always appreciated about the Corner Grill, which was right down the street from my grandmother's, they'd have meatloaf Monday. They'd make these big portions of food, and you could get like hot turkey sandwiches. But what I always wanted to do, I wanted to be a bar owner, and I wanted to have fried bologna sandwiches like on Wednesday. Just like I said before. I mean, every Sunday when I grew up, we'd have Luger's fried bologna with our eggs because my dad couldn't afford bacon. There were like 6 of us, and I would much rather have fried bologna than bacon. That's how much I love fried bologna.
It brings out the flavor too, because the fats are it's all intermixed, and just when you fry it, it just brings it, emulsifies it, brings that flavor out, and just intensifies the flavor of the bologna.
So go get some Silver Star bologna today. And Mr. Germoni, if you're out there, you got to tell me about this connection to Luger Meats. That's exciting stuff. Okay, we got John, Lynn, Debbie. We got more calls, so we'll get to them all in just a couple of moments. Don't forget Ash Wednesday, best fish sandwich on the planet. No one comes close. Haddock fish, walleye being added this year. And then every Friday throughout the Lenten season, those fabulous Fish Fry Fridays. Coons Market, a Pittsburgh and Lenten tradition.
When the weather turns bad, turn to us for the best news, weather, and traffic information from the KDKA Radio Storm Center. Presented by Duquesne Light Company, larger than light, and brought to you by Butler Transit Authority. Online and on the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
Hey, you. Yes, you. Close your eyes and picture it. You at your ideal weight. You feel lighter, healthier, unstoppable. Your energy is through the roof, your confidence is soaring, and the mirror, it finally reflects the real you. I'm Dr. Bridget Chufo, and I can make that vision a reality. With weight loss therapy, supplements, and even weight loss shots, it's about you. With the right guidance and motivation, we will stay on track. Just call me at 1-800-900-THIN and be the real you.
Hey folks, winter is here. For many of our neighbors, staying warm is not guaranteed. Local families, seniors, and many in need are struggling to keep their heat on. You can help by supporting Dollar Energy Fund during the Warmathon. Every donation goes directly towards helping someone maintain utility services so they can stay warm in their home this winter. Just one gift can make all the difference. Give warmth, give hope. Donate now at warmathon.com because no one should have to face winter in the cold.
This is Greg Trzynski of the Original Mattress Factory. Recently, the owner of a large mattress retailer was proudly sharing how over 65% of their queen mattress prices are $15.99 or higher. At the Original Mattress Factory, our focus is a little bit different. We build superior quality mattresses right here in town and do our best to save you as much money as possible. That's why at OMF, nearly 80% of our queen mattresses are lower than those prices others brag about. Stop in or check out originalmattress.com to learn more.
Customers often ask, what's the right mattress for me? At the Original Mattress Factory, our answer is always the same. It's all about personal preference. You should select the one that feels right to you because there isn't a one mattress fits all solution. That's why we offer a selection of quality and comfort choices for every preference. And our sales team will help you find the right product for your specific needs. At the Original Mattress Factory, we have the right mattress for just about everyone. Stop by to find yours today.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
SchultzFord.com, 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 SchultzFord.com.
The diet can continue Monday. This is the Coons Cooking Hour on 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
All right, you know me, I always just like spill it out, okay? I got to get this off my chest. I've been saying this for the longest time, and my beloved Patty Janoski just sent me a text message, and I love Janoski's, and I've been saying this, and Frank, you can attest to this, and I never got a chance to talk to her husband, Mike, about it, or Tom, or Steve, or Patty. I would like in our Coons Market produce sections to have a little Janoski section just to kind of give them a little love to show what they do, their homegrown jarred sauces and stuff. And obviously, Coons Market, what we do and who we are that neighborhood grocer. But she sent me this just to give you an idea how this stuff all connects. Going to have to stop listening to you, LOL. You're hitting all my soft spots. Did you know fried bologna sandwiches with mayonnaise and tomato were Sonny, the late, great Sonny Janoski, who your wonderful father were cut from the same cloth, and Mike, of course, her husband's favorite thing. And to top it off, guess what it was? A fresh ear of corn, Frank.
Of course, they had all the corn right there.
Yeah,
that
lots
just
of
makes
corn.
sense. But yeah, nice. But yeah, and they're right near for where Luger's was. So they a nice pairing there. But bologna was it's still one of our top lunch meats. You know, it goes Isley's, then we sell Eckridge is our top selling bologna, and Land O'Lakes American cheese. Those are your three top hitters, and Butterball on turkey breast.
I love it.
That's still our tops.
All right, so I'm telling you, little section, Janoski's in our produce department, win-win for everyone. All right, here we go. Let's go to Lynn in Squirrel Hill. Lynn, good morning. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Hi, guys. How are you doing?
Good, good, good. Happy Sunday.
Well, you too. I was telling my kids the other day, when I was 12 in school, they taught me how to make French toast. So I decided I was going to make French toast yesterday. My kids like this recipe too, and that was like 60 years ago when I was 12. So at any rate, you take an egg, whip it up, and you take about a half to a 3/4 of a cup of milk and whip that with it. Then you add, my dog is squeaking his toy, sorry, and you add a teaspoon of vanilla and whip it all together. And then I take some olive oil, put it in the frying pan, and 4 pieces of Italian bread. I prefer Italian. I think it's better. So I put it in and let it soak, so it soaks up that milk mixture, and then put it in the pan, flip it over when it's brown, and serve it with warm maple syrup. It's really amazing. Yeah. It was the bomb. I had that yesterday for lunch. I was like, what do I want for lunch? Because I'm never home, And so I was like, oh, wow, I'm home for a different day. So I was like, oh, I'm going to have French toast. It was so good.
You know what, man? That
but
brings
it's
back
really cute. My kids like it when and it's funny, I learned it in school.
Hey, listen, that's near and dear to my heart, that French toast. That was such a big deal when we had, and it's so simple to make, and it's full of all this high octane sugar that has you clinging to the curtains, when it's all said and done.
You balance it out, though.
But listen, that was a huge deal when we were kids. You'd wake up, we're having French toast. That was like massive.
And all that was, like, we have stale bread we need to get rid of, so let's do some French toast. That's what it really was. But you pair that with Diane's eggs, now you got the breakfast of kings.
Oh, I love it. Then I tell you what, man, get that Saloni's bread and get going. Okay, let's get to Debbie and Cecil. Debbie, you're on the air. KDK, go ahead.
Good morning, gentlemen. My recipe is a cabbage and pierogi dish. You're going to take your cabbage and you're going to dice it up, depending on the size that you want. And you're going to cook the cabbage with either 1 or 2 sticks of butter, depending on how much you put in there. And then at the same time, you're going to take a pot of water and boil it and then cook your pierogies. And when they're done, drain them. And then you're going to combine the two together to heat it all up. And then for the next day, if you have leftovers, then you can take some kibasi, cook it however you want on the grill, boil it, put it in the frying pan, and then add it to the leftovers. And so you have leftovers, but it has a different touch to it.
That's great. Yeah, leftovers, and you have your lunch for the next day. Perfect.
Yep.
Debbie, good stuff. I got to tell you, I love cabbage, too.
One of my favorite dishes this time of year, I mean, you can have it all year round, but I'll pick some up from the stores, is a haluski. Oh, I love haluski. It's not really, it's not my background of Italian, but when we had it in the store, I was the first time I ever had it when I started cooking in the stores, and boy, is it good.
My favorite this time of year, and any time of year, but this time, I got to watch because I could eat it literally by the tablespoon. I love mac and cheese, man.
Oh, mac and cheese. But you're in one of the stores. If you've never had a Husky, pick up some of the Husky.
You know, I've never had a Lushki in my life.
Get it at one of the stores. It's delicious. It's absolutely delicious.
Listen, I remember the day I was two-fisting these fish sandwiches. Trust me, I know.
If they don't have that at Banksville during Lent, they're going to get punched in the face because people love it so much.
Listen, just do me a favor. Before we get to Lent, go to Coons Market and get yourself some Silver Star or Eckrich. But I prefer Silver Star. Get yourself some bologna and make yourself some fried bologna or a bologna sandwich before we get to Lent. Or obviously not on Fridays, but if you haven't had bologna in a while, you don't know what you're missing.
Cut it just a little bit thicker.
Listen to me. I love bologna. You know what we used to do? Take a bite, then hold it up like a smiley face.
Oh, yeah, we'd fold it in half, cut it, bite into it, then you got a circle in the middle.
Oh, Patty and Mike were sitting there with
throw an egg and fry it up, I guess.
With their granddaughter the other day at the farm because I was there and I was at Coons and Hopewell, and I just thought how lucky that grandchild is to have those two. She's going to have such a good life. All right, short break. We'll come back, wrap up the hour, pick our winner next.
The Big K Morning Show with Larry Richards.
There is a 211 number. It's a helpline. Lieutenant Governor Austin Davis is trying to get a hike. It's part of the budget proposal. Joining us is Senator Wayne Fontana.
Certainly a credible and respected organization for many, many years. But it's a helpline for anyone that has any kind of issue.
Weekday mornings 5:30 to 10 on the Voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
The Village at St. Barnabas, the perfect place for mom.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers. So we build specially adapted homes at Homes for Our Troops. And thanks to our donors and supporters, this life-changing gift of freedom is provided mortgage-free to these veterans. But we need you to join us, too, in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
America, look around. Everywhere you go, prices are still high, rates have been whipsawing markets, and the debt and spending don't exactly scream stability. Experts say diversifying with intention is the #1 secret account that all American smart money uses to hedge against instability. Monetary Gold has been around since 2000, witnessing multiple economic setbacks. If you call now, Monetary Gold will cover up to a lifetime of your IRA fees on qualified accounts. Call Monetary Gold now at 877-NOW-GOLD. That's 877-NOW-GOLD. Performance may vary. You should always consult your financial and tax professional.
100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA. Covered by JP Roofing and Siding. Pittsburgh's #1 platinum roofing company. Listen to KDKA Radio on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
The diet can continue Monday. This is the Coons Cooking Hour on 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
And I want to give you one more that's on special through Tuesday that is definitely worth thinking about this season. Lobster tails, 8-ounce average, $15.99 each. That's an incredible opportunity if you want some lobster tail. And if you do it before Wednesday, you get yourself a nice steak, have a little surf and turf. You're going to absolutely love it. All right, here we go. This week's winner of that $25 gift certificate from Coons Market is...
This week's winner is Lynn in Squirrel Hill.
All right, Lynn, congratulations. Enjoy that. Next week, we're going to be talking pasta. You know, pasta's a really good Lenten meal, too. You just can't have a meat sauce, but that works. Pizza, cheese pizza, that works.
Cook up some veggies, some peppers and onions. I love putting in the sauce. It gives it a whole nother flavor. One other thing you can do is you can make your marinara sauce, cook up some celery, or if you have your leftovers. So you made a roast earlier in the week. You made it with some celery and some potatoes and some carrots. Take that, add it to the sauce, and hit it into the blender. It mixes those veggies right into the tomatoes. You don't even see it. It thickens it up a little bit, more like a meat sauce, and it adds more depth because you got some of the broth from the meat that was in there. I don't know if it counts as a meatless meal, but it is absolutely delicious.
All right. Listen, we got Rob coming up next with the news, and you and I are going to get back into some open talk. We have a lot of stuff to discuss. And then at 10 o'clock, it's Accurate Solutions. Now, on the Coons Market Black and Gold Sunday show, we'll continue to follow what's happening at the Winter Olympics. But the majority of the program is going to be dedicated to the upcoming Pirate season because the Bucks and pitchers and catchers headed to Bradenton. It won't be long before we have our first spring training broadcast here. And, of course, on KDKA all season long, 93.7 The Fan. Jason Mackey of the Post-Gazette, who is in Bradenton, will kick off the show. And then you may remember that name, Tanner. Well, Bruce Tanner, longtime scout, former big league pitcher, is going to be here at 11:30. Talk about the rotation and what we can expect as far as pitching. And then right after the noon news today, Bob Dvorak, longtime writer and columnist with the Post-Gazette, who covered the Pirates. Well, remember one of the greatest Pirates of all time. He is still their all-time saves leader, the late Elroy Face, who passed away this week at the age of 97. Frank, always a pleasure. Thank you. Have a great week ahead. We appreciate you.
Have a wonderful day.
All right, News 9, and then more of you and me, your Pratt Pack on this Marathon Sunday here at KDKA 100.1 FM, AM 1020. It's 9 a.m.
The preceding program was paid for by Coons Quality Market.
KDKA and KDKA-FM HD2 Pittsburgh. W261AX Pittsburgh.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Aetna Medicare studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
It is 39 degrees, Pittsburgh International at 9 o'clock. I'm Rob Taylor. Pittsburgh police are investigating after a man was found stabbed downtown overnight in Market Square. Man was found with a stab wound to the head, also lower back area. Around 12:30 this morning, he was taken to the hospital in critical condition. He's since been upgraded to stable condition. Police say 2 suspects possibly left the scene in a dark-colored SUV. In Wilkesburg, a fire broke out Saturday evening inside an elevator shaft at the Douglas Plaza Apartments on Laketon Road. Multiple people inside the building had to be evacuated as firefighters dealt with the fire. No injuries reported. Cause of the fire under investigation. SWAT personnel shot an individual in Lower Borough, Westmoreland County on Saturday night after the suspect initially fired shots at responding authorities during a standoff. Police in Lower Borough originally responded to Rogers Drive around 6:30 Saturday night after reports that a person had fired shots into a nearby residence. A standoff then occurred. Westmoreland's SWAT team was called to the scene. Eventually, the individual inside the residence allegedly fired multiple shots through a window at SWAT members. SWAT returned fire, striking that individual. He was transported to a hospital in Pittsburgh and is now under police custody. No officers were injured in the incident. A confrontation occurred at a protest against the arrest of a South American man living in Springdale by ICE agents. The protest started around noon in the area of Pittsburgh at school streets as people protested the arrest of 36-year-old Randy Cordova Flores on Tuesday by ICE agents. Cordova Flores is currently being detained by ICE in Phillipsburg Center County. Now, during the protest in Springdale, a man stepped out of his SUV, confronted a few protesters, then pushed a photographer who was at the protest. Springdale police addressed the situation, briefly detained the man, then he was released. The rally continued following that confrontation. Also during the rally, protesters called on Springdale as a borough to end its agreement to cooperate with ICE officials. KDK Radio News Time 9:03. We have the AccuWeather forecast on a Sunday coming up.
Attention Pittsburgh area residents. If you have Medicaid and need help with activities of basic living, Freedom Care can make it easy. With Freedom Care, the person who cares for you can be someone you love, your family, your friend, or a trusted neighbor. They can assist you with meals, bathing, eating, mobility, and more. And Medicaid pays them for your care. You stay in the home you love, surrounded by the people you choose, and it's 100% free to you. Don't wait. Call Freedom Care now. Call 412-674-5196. With Freedom Care, you get the care you need, and your loved one gets paid instantly after every shift. Feel better, heal better, and live better at home with Freedom Care. Call 412-674-5196 or visit freedomcare.com today. That's 412-674-5196. Again, 412-674-5196. 412-674-5196.
Larry Richard for CertaPro Painters. I've been a customer for over a decade. Why? Because the professional work CertaPro Painters does protects your home, quality paint, worry-free process, free estimates. That's why I've relied on CertaPro Painters. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated right here in our community. Schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. When choosing a painting professional, the choice is simple. Choose happy. Choose CertaPro Painters.
Fantastic February savings at Coons Market. Isn't that right, Frank Dentisi?
Right, Rob. In our meat department, center cut boneless pork loin chops or roasts are $2.99 a pound. In the produce department, Sunkist Jumbo, Cara or Navel oranges, 10 for $10. In our deli department, Coons pepperoni rolls are $4.49 each. An additional savings this week, Eggland's Best large eggs, 1 dozen cartons, 2 for $5.
Coons Market, that special place in your neighborhood, a Pittsburgh tradition.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred roofing replacement contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
Today brings clouds with some rain, especially in the afternoon, and a high of 43, followed by a cloudy night tonight with some fog developing late, the low 33. Once that fog breaks up tomorrow, expect a mix of clouds and sun and a high of 49, with the warming trend continuing into Tuesday with another mix of clouds and sun, but a high of 59. For AccuWeather, I'm LaTroy Thornton, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
The following is an editorial by KDKA Radio Senior Vice President Market Manager Michael Spacciapoli.
Long-range forecasts indicate brutal winter conditions are coming to an end, and not a moment too soon. The numbers show we endured the coldest start to a year since 1994 and racked up at least 25 days with temperatures below 15 degrees, the second most all time. As the deep freeze fades away, higher utility bills are arriving. Electricity rates went up 6 to 10.5% in December. Natural gas rates are up 5 to 6.5% as well. These higher rates, combined with much higher usage during a long stretch of extreme cold, made the 18th annual NRG KDK Radio Warmathon more relevant than ever. And you responded with kindness, helping us raise more than $364,000 to benefit the Dollar Energy Fund. More than 1,000 Western Pennsylvania families in need will be getting utility assistance thanks to your generosity. And you can still make a donation online through the Dollar Energy Fund Warmathon page. To the listeners and sponsors helping Pittsburgh area families stay warm and pay their utility bills, we couldn't do it without you.
This has been an editorial by KDKA Radio Senior Vice President Market Manager Michael Spacciapoli. To view a transcript, go to kdkaradio.com.
All right, here we go. Another hour of open talk. I like when we have these opportunities. They are rare, but especially in prime time on a Sunday morning as you're, settling in and maybe enjoying a breakfast or getting ready to head out to church services, or maybe you just came back, you had a little donut run or whatever. Now is the time for us to do the deep dive on some local stories that I think are worth talking about. I do a lot of social media, and a lot of people say, well, why do you do all that when you really spend so much time on the radio? Isn't that extra work? Yeah, it is, but it's a great tool, and it gives me an opportunity to see what's trending. And a lot of times when I post this stuff before I go on the air in the morning or during the week, I can see what's getting the most clicks, likes, and comments, good, bad, and different, and then I get a chance to basically bring it to the radio audience because that's my objective, always taking care of the hometown team, which is KDK and Odyssey. So of all the things that I've been talking about, the Nancy Guthrie case is still very big, and I've got some things to say about that. I did reach out to a member of law enforcement. I was hoping to get them on to kind of give us their opinion, but it's tough tracking people down on the weekend, but I did make an effort. Now, before I get to that, the other story that's really trending also involves law enforcement. What happened in Springdale yesterday, okay, with ICE. And push came to shove. People started poking with the handle of one of the protest signs. People were interrupting traffic. It got a little really dicey. Well, as I look back on stuff that I have posted on social media, that thing has gone viral. And I got to be honest with you, for a Sunday morning topic, I've never seen so many comments. And some of them, if they're not respectful, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm dumping you. You're going to go. Because I have a set of older eyes, not so older eyes, and young eyes from time to time who may be scrolling that I don't want them to see certain responses. And I say the same thing to my radio audience. I want you to be respectful. We can disagree. You can have a very strong statement or a belief, but you got to be respectful. It's one of the reasons why I think we have such a problem with ICE and protesters in America, because nobody knows how to play fair anymore, right? But anyway, I left some of them because they're a little rough around the edges, but people put some effort into it, shared some video, photos, and they want to make their feelings known. But let me talk to both sides here. You got to grow up, okay? You got to grow up. Look, I understand we have disagreements in this world. I remember some massive shouting matches at the dinner table, okay, that were happening between friends, family, relatives, neighbors. I get it. But nobody ever went over the kitchen table. Nobody ever came across the yard. Nobody was looking to slug it out with somebody or even do something even worse, like bring a gun to a conversation. I don't know what is wrong. And here's the story that I always keep remembering in situations like this that I would hear from people who were trying to be authoritative, but also to kind of get people to act their age. And the person would say, isn't there any adults in the room? Look, we're just fresh off of 2 people losing their lives in Minnesota, which did not have to happen. Got up in the face of police officers, which you cannot do, but you shouldn't pay with your life, okay? But it is what it is. Homan, the czar, goes up there, settles it down. They're leaving Minneapolis, but they're not leaving Springdale recently. They're not going anywhere. Training centers, detention centers, millions being spent. They may just be going back to regroup. Who knows? But I do know this. Everybody on both sides, stop. And if you're one of these politicians that are going to be a part of these rallies, be the adult in the room and tell everyone, act your age, speak your mind, chant what you want to chant, hold the sign that you want to hold, but please be respectful. And people in Springdale, for the most part, a lot of them are there. I'm actually looking at some of the video right now. We're doing, I think, what they felt in their heart they needed to do. But I'm going to tell you this, and you got to listen to me when I'm about to tell you. If everybody doesn't act their age, and I don't start seeing more adults in the room, something bad's going to happen again. And it could happen to someone you know, family, friend, or yourself. You may be an innocent bystander, just trying to go from point A to point B, who may get caught in the crossfire. And it's not going to be long before, sadly, if it doesn't, I mean, this is little beautiful Springdale that I love, okay? Spent many, many days there as a young broadcaster covering sports. If it can happen in beautiful little Springdale, it can happen anywhere. Not just Minneapolis, it can happen anywhere. And all it's going to take is someone to have their ego bruised, because that's what this comes down to. And somebody's going to get hurt again, bad, maybe even killed. And if we ever get to a point, and I'm going to be the adult in the room and say it, that people, it turns out to be the OK Corral, and it could, this thing could sweep from one side of the country to the next like a fire. Out of control, burning everything in its path to where we have another civil war. And I know many people have told me, guess what? Obey the law. I know that. But you see, people don't look at law enforcement like they did when I was growing up. For whatever reason, they don't. But we need to get back to that word respect. But these ICE officers need to rethink their procedures too. Listen, if that lady Renee Good was pulling away, I would have let her go. And if it was something that someone's life was threatened, including mine, then maybe I would try another tactic. But look, it happened. You cannot go back, but you can learn from history. But here we are, days removed, and a lot of these little fires are popping up around the country, like the one in Springdale. And I know people get upset about particular employees. It's happened to one of my friend's employees. I get it. But these people, the majority of them are here because they care about this country and they work harder than anyone ever. I know many people from Mexico, not personally, but I see it every day, who are here legally and work harder in one day than I work in a month. And they deserve an opportunity, just like my ancestors, like your ancestors. And ICE needs to understand that. And we've heard the president himself say that. But seeing is believing. So where does this ICE go? How does this whole story end? I don't know how you feel, but I'm worried. And as I was preparing for this morning's show, I always go over everything that's local. I mean, that's where I first begin. Post-Gazette, Trib, KDK Radio, our social media pages. It's nonstop. It actually starts the next day when I say good day. Like today, when I walk out of this building, we're already getting ready for tomorrow night. It's exhausting, but it is what it is because there's so many social media platforms out there. You have to stay on top of this stuff. And I'll tell you, this ICE thing, I thought it was calming down. I thought it was getting a little bit better. I had a little bit more faith. And this little Springdale story, I don't know. So if you were there yesterday, I know there's got to be one or two that are listening. Tell me what happened. How did it start? And was it, when you hear the word violent, momentarily, but that word violent, it makes you think. But I'm telling you what I also think is going to happen. I think ICE could go away forever. I think there's been so much pressure applied on the Trump administration, no matter what they're spending, what they're promising, what they're doing. Midterms coming up. I think it may go away. And I don't know if that's good for this country, even though I know 2 people lost their lives. Springdale, if you were there, I'd like to hear from you. 866-391-1020. It's your Pratt Pack. It's a Sunday morning on KDKA.
Your source for the AccuWeather forecast. Hear it on News Radio KDKA.
Time now for a Black History Month Spotlight.
Today we honor Nathan T. Veller, who broke barriers in the late 1800s, becoming Pennsylvania's first black postmaster. In 1897, he was appointed to lead the East Pittsburgh Post Office, serving for a decade and making history across the Commonwealth. Veller was more than a postal leader. He worked in the steel industry, owned a general store on Bessemer Avenue, and served his community as a school director and Rankin Borough councilman. He was also active in Republican politics and national black business organizations. Nathan T. Veller died in 1928, remembered as a pioneer in public service and civic leadership.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. After my husband died, the last thing I wanted to think about was money. Ethos made it affordable to get life insurance. Signing up was fast and 100% online. I knew that I could pay our mortgage and have food in the fridge. I could focus on my kids. No one ever tells you how much you're going to depend on that policy. I am so grateful we had coverage.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/life. That's ethos.com/life. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell, definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. Do you feel stupid for buying a timeshare? Don't. It's not your fault. You were most likely told you could rent it, and it was a great financial investment. And the deal was available today only. If this happened to you, contact your resort or Wesley Financial Group for help today.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-939-1441. 800-939-1441.
This is Greg Trzynski of the Original Mattress Factory. Recently, the owner of a large mattress retailer was proudly sharing how over 65% of their queen mattress prices are $15.99 or higher. At the Original Mattress Factory, our focus is a little bit different. We build superior quality mattresses right here in town and do our best to save you as much money as possible. That's why at OMF, nearly 80% of our queen mattresses are lower than those prices others brag about. Stop in or check out originalmattress.com to learn more.
Customers often ask, what's the right mattress for me? At the Original Mattress Factory, our answer is always the same. It's all about personal preference. You should select the one that feels right to you because there isn't a one-mattress-fits-all solution. That's why we offer a selection of quality and comfort choices for every preference. And our sales team will help you find the right product for your specific needs. At the Original Mattress Factory, we have the right mattress for just about everyone. Stop by to find yours today.
SchultzFord.com. 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 SchultzFord.com.
Tune in to KDKA Radio every Thursday at 2:37 p.m. for your weekly Medicare update with Lisa Lauro from Secure Money Health. Lisa will provide you information on everything related to Medicare and how to prepare for it. Brought to you by Secure Money Health.
Listen to KDKA Radio on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
Everything you need, every time you listen. 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
All right, here is Rick on the road with your Pratt Pack. Hey, Rick, how you doing, man? Good morning.
Hey, good morning. Hey, I love your Sunday programs. Hey, my question here is, and I'm going to ask this question right down the middle. ICE is a federal agency, much like the IRS. How can these local municipalities refuse to cooperate with them? If you refuse to cooperate with the IRS, isn't that illegal? I mean, doesn't the same go for ICE?
Listen, they're bucking the system. They're just they're playing their cards and they're hoping that nobody calls them on it. I mean, they're being bullish. I mean, I don't know how else to explain it. If I were somebody in government, I would be basically following the law of the land, but they're bucking the system. And this is where we have the great divide in America today. I mean, take a look at any major election. It's questioned from the time it's over to the time it's time to run for that same office again. That's where we are in this country right now.
Yeah, I mean, can I buck the system and not file my tax return?
People do it. People do it. And sadly, it's wrong, but they do it.
You know, they get fines, and I guess over years you could probably
listen. There's no listen. There's time, I guess. Listen to me, Rick. There's no fear, sadly, of law enforcement or government anymore. People, listen. When we had that pandemic, people were basically demanding, saying it's your responsibility to take care of me. I have no money. It's your responsibility because I'm an American citizen. You owe me. You owe me. You owe me. Look. We should not be starving in America. People shouldn't be without health care in America because there's still too many opportunities to work in America. Why do you think all these people are coming to America? Why do you think they're taking these jobs? Because most Americans wouldn't do them because they think it's beneath them. They are used to handouts in America. Look, our parents didn't have any handouts. If my dad didn't work, his 6 kids didn't eat. There weren't food stamps. There wasn't welfare. I mean, I'm not saying it's not needed, but this is all basically piled up to where now it's just blown up. And that's where we're at in America right now. Honestly, I can't believe I even hear that some of these people, and I know many of them in politics, who say, we're not cooperating. It would be like if the FBI showed up at your house, knocked on the door, and you went, no thanks, I already gave at the office, and you slammed the door shut in their face. You can't do that. But people do it today.
That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is, and it's surprising because, I mean, it comes from mayors and these people who should be, you know, the pillars of the community of law. And it's not like there's gangsters saying no. These are legitimate people saying we're not cooperating. So I think what they should do is take some bologna sandwiches up to these protests, and everybody will be happier with each other.
Listen, I promise you, bologna will straighten anybody out. And by the way, how about the one person in Minneapolis who was throwing bologna underneath these ICE vehicles? Speaking of bologna, I mean, come on now. Anyway, I got this message from one of my listeners, and it says strongly and respectfully disagree on your illegal view. We are nations of law. Well, I was just saying this, but I think I know where they're coming from. ICE is enforcing the laws. Maybe sent this before the last call. Enforcing the laws of the country. U.S. citizens deserve to know who is in our country. Look, I agree. We cannot afford to get rid of ICE. But what I'm afraid of, because of the sentiment of what has happened in America, especially the deaths of these 2 people, I think ICE is going to be disbanded. And if it doesn't happen during this administration, it will happen during the next administration. That's why I want to hear from you, especially if you were in Springdale. I mean, I would never, and this is me, I would never put myself in a situation to where I could lose my life senselessly and leave my children to basically fend for themselves, especially when they were younger. And after somebody gets killed, one person, let alone 2, for that alone, I may not believe in ICE, but I'm not putting myself in a position Because the picture is this. It ain't all about me. It's about the babies who are now young adults and adolescents who need things to live and to grow and to be able to experience life. And whether you like it or not, you need money to experience life. People who simply say, we'll live on love, yeah, right. That doesn't work. And if you have money, you get it. If you don't, you understand it. And the only way you get money in this society is you got to go out and earn it. And nobody knows that more than me, and nobody knows that more than you. What do you make of all of this? 866-391-1020. Here's Keith up next on KDKA. Hey, Keith.
Hey, Rob. Thanks for taking my call. You know, I hate to tell you you're completely wrong about ICE. But the reason things are such a mess up in Minneapolis, Minnesota, is because the mayor and the governor are so bad up there. ICE is doing things down in places like New Orleans, a blue city, a red state, Memphis, Tennessee, a blue city, a red state, and it's not making the news in any way, shape, or form, is it, Rob?
I don't know how you can say you disagree with me. I'm just saying what I think's going to happen. I've also said we need ICE, but they need to get their act together, and these protesters need to dial it back a little. You're not disagreeing with me. I think we're pretty much on the same page. Look, I don't want ICE to go away, but it has to change because I think our country, and I don't think the average person realizes what is going on the outside looking in. That's what scares me, Keith.
Well, like I said, the only reason this place is so messed up is, up there in Minneapolis is because, listen, they could get these bad guys out of town every time they get arrested and let the ICE pick them up in the jail. There won't be a big incident, but no, they don't want to do it that way, do they, Rob?
Well, I just don't know why they have to be so confrontational.
Because they won't go along.
I know that, but they could go along differently by just, being peaceful but being annoying. There's a way to do that. Sometimes less is more. I appreciate it, Keith. I got to get to these other callers, and we got to get a break in here for the news. We're going to get to David in West Mifflin. I'd love to hear from you. Look, this Springdale made this a local story again. And that's why it's trending so much on my social media page. Rob's talking about it in the news. I'm sure my colleagues will have something to say about it coming up starting tomorrow, and probably carry into tomorrow night. I did think to myself that things were going to calm down. And there's no comparison here. But there have been little outbursts of late to where these protests are happening in and around our community. And everybody has the right to say we're not cooperating, we don't want to be involved. But I think you kill them with kindness, you keep your mouth shut, you do things to get your word out, but you do it in a way that it doesn't ignite into some powder keg that blows up in the middle of some very nice little community to where you have innocent people getting hurt. See, that's the thing that nobody understands about this, and that's why we have to have some adults in the room. It could implode. It could get ugly. It could get violent. People could die on both sides. And a lot of times when you have this type of a confrontation, you have little innocent lives that are lost, families, children. I mean, you saw some of that footage in Minneapolis. There were families with baby strollers just trying to get out of their driveway to get into their house, and they were having to literally swim their way through nothing but clouds of tear gas. I mean, that's in Minneapolis, Minnesota. That's a legal agency under the direction of the government of the United States of America against the citizenship in Minneapolis. And not just protesters, people who wanted probably nothing to do with that got caught up in it because they were just in the wrong place at the right time. I'm just telling you, we have got to take a serious look at this. This stuff is just starting to pick up momentum again. Right here in our own backyard. 866-391-1020. We'll be back.
Why does it matter to members that Aetna was named a Best Medicare Advantage company by U.S. News & World Report? Because they chose a plan that gives them real support, real people, and real care. We show up on calls with members and doctors' offices when needed. We show up with access to convenient care options and coverage that fits everyday life. We don't show up for awards. We show up for you. And showing up for you is how healthier happens together.
Looking for reliable HVAC services? Well, you're in luck. Impact HVAC is family-owned and operated right here in our community. They pride themselves on top-notch service and honest work. Got a question? Need a second opinion? They've got you covered. And guess what? Estimates are always free. Call them today, 412-297-1852. That's 412-297-1852. Impact HVAC, your local heating and cooling experts.
Pittsburgh is on the clock. Our comprehensive draft coverage is powered by Bowser Chevrolet. It's more than just the players. It's the vibe of the city. Where to go? What to do? We have you covered. It's presented by Target Freight Management and brought to you by your local AAA travel office and by Groundworks, formerly Baker's Waterproofing. On the voice of Pittsburgh, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA. From the Aetna Medicare Studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
It is 39 degrees in Pittsburgh International at 9:30. I'm Rob Taylor. A confrontation erupted during a protest at the against the arrest of a South American man living in Springdale by ICE agents. That protest started around noon in the area of Pittsburgh at school streets as people protested the arrest of 36-year-old Randy Cordova Flores on Tuesday by ICE agents. Now, during the protest, a man stepped out of his SUV, confronted a few protesters, pushed a photographer who was also at the protest. Springdale police quickly intervened. The man was briefly detained and released. Now, the rally continued following that confrontation. And during the rally, protesters also called on Springdale as a borough to end its agreement to cooperate with ICE officials. Well, Pittsburgh police are investigating after a man was found stabbed twice downtown in Market Square overnight. Happened around 12:30. Man was found with a stab wound to the head, also the lower back. He was taken to the hospital in critical condition. He's now in stable condition. Police say there were two suspects that left the scene in a dark-colored SUV. KDK Radio News Time, 9:31. Next updates at 10. I'm Rob Taylor on the Voice of Pittsburgh, News Radio KDK.
Here's the latest from the KDKA Community Message Board.
Obsessed with pizza? So are they at Slice on Broadway. The 2025 winner of World's Best Cheese Pizza Slice is right here in the Burgh with 6 Pittsburgh locations, always serving delicious New York-style pizza, hoagies, and salads. Order yours today. Visit sliceonbroadway.com. This winter, help keep Western Pennsylvania families warm. Support Dollar Energy Fund by bidding in the online Warmathon auction at warmathon.com. For nearly 20 years, Warmathon has helped provide critical utility assistance to neighbors in need. Bid today and help make a difference this winter. New to Rivers Casino? Join now and earn up to $1,000 free slot play. Stop by Rush Rewards on your next visit to start earning today. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Details at KDKARadio.com.
In a world in need of a hero, one man rises to the challenge in style. He is...
just driving the kids to soccer practice.
Make every day feel epic in the all-new Hyundai Palisade Hybrid with up to an EPA-estimated 619 miles of range on select trims, advanced tech, and class-leading interior space. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details.
And hey, come on, no cleats on the seats.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred roofing replacement contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
Today brings clouds with a bit of rain at times, especially starting late in the morning with a high of 43. But it looks cloudy and dry for tonight with some fog developing late and a low of 33. Any fog clears up tomorrow morning, leaving just sun and clouds and a high of 49. With another round of sun and clouds, but warmer Tuesday, high 59. For AccuWeather, I'm LaTroy Thornton, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
All right, here we go. Let's say hi to David in West Mifflin. Hey, David.
Good morning, Rob. How you doing? I'll go a little bit slower this time. I know the other night I was like a machine gun.
That's okay, man. Take your time.
Yep. Good, Rob. Rob, first of all, it's terrible that anyone has to lose their life, Rob. But there's a common thread between what happened up there in Minneapolis between Alex Purdy and Renee Nicole Good. They both interfered in law enforcement operations, Rob. That's the common thread. And it doesn't matter whether you're a liberal Democratic or a conservative Republican or whatever. They know they did wrong. They were part of an insurrection and a riot, and they caused trouble. And unfortunately, that's what happened. And with Alex Purdy, you don't bring a loaded gun to the fight. You don't. First of all, Rob, just to clarify for the people that don't understand, there's a difference between a legal right to carry, going to a riot, carrying, and then chambering around with a gun that's known to go off and misfire like the Sig Sauer P320 he had. It's common sense, Rob. He was looking for trouble, and he found it.
Listen, I'm not going to disagree with you. I totally concur. Look, you don't put yourself in that position, especially after his parents told him, don't go there. And if you're going, don't go and be confrontational. And why would you even need one unless you were thinking you were going to use it? I mean, if it's a peaceful protest, shouldn't have died, but you cannot. Listen, there's no way. That would be like a traffic stop, or even a red light, I should say. I see a motorcycle cop in Pittsburgh, which I always see in the summer and spring. I would jump out and start just saying, hey, and think they're not going to do nothing. I mean, you cannot poke the bear. You cannot do it.
Right.
And if you...
Rob, sorry, go ahead.
No, finish. Go ahead.
Yeah, and Rob, that also pertains to the municipal level, too, whether it's, like you just alluded to, a Pittsburgh officer. If I'm over in the market square and say I'm at the Permanis enjoying a beer and I see a guy getting arrested right near Permanis, and I go over and I accost the police and I interfere in that operation, I'm going to be arrested, if not murdered or killed myself, depending upon the level of the trouble. But, Rob, see, that's the thing with people, Rob. And that's why when I hear these people like the Pauls, the politicians, like even our mayor, and I know you like the mayor, nothing against Corey O'Connor, but when you got all these Pauls, mainly on the left side, Rob, because I'm going to be honest, except with Fetterman, he voted for the Homeland Security package there in the Senate.
He did.
When, Rob, there's going to be a time when they're going to need law enforcement. And, Rob, I'm not saying they're not going to help them, but they're biting from the hand that feeds them, Rob. Everyone's going to need an officer in their life eventually. You know, and then like the people like Summerlee and the mayor of Pittsburgh, they're crying, oh, ICE, we got to get rid of them, wah, wah, wah. No, they should work with them. And Rob, one more thing and I'll go. Minnesota, this is mainly their fault because the main job of ICE is to detain these illegal immigrants once they're in custody and then deport them. The ICE job is not to go in the streets to look for them. That's just an extra operation because the municipalities and the cities are that BS sanctuary status. They're not sanctuary. It's illegal immigrants, Rob. Undocumented is a liberal term that they use for illegal. Illegal doesn't mean undocumented. Illegal means you're here illegally. You step your foot in the country, you're here illegally. Doesn't matter. It's the media.